the hell is everybody doing today on this wonderful Friday? What's going on, people? What's going on, everybody? Def Camp here. How you guys doing? What's up, family? What's going on, everybody? Woo! Listen, guys, listen. I want to let you guys know something right now. First off, you know, we got another week through the Classic WoW, guys. That means we are coming closer and closer. Every day that goes by, every second that goes by, we're getting closer to Classic WoW. How the hell's everybody doing? Here we go, everybody. How the hell are you doing on this Friday? Ooh, baby. I'm fucking hyped. I'm feeling so good. I got my Snapple ready to go. I got some pizza ready to go. I got some Classic WoW in my head ready to talk about. It's Friday, my dudes. Hell yeah, Chimley in the house. We got the family up in here already. Oh my god, everybody's up in here already. Jeremy, Aroleth, Necro, Polo, Randor, Chimley, Korand, Izzy, Pogren, Atticus. What's up, my people? How's everybody doing? Justin said that Blizzard confirmed faction lockout in PvP servers. Good news. Good news. Aroleth, where did you hear that, my man? Justin said that Blizzard faction lockout in PvP servers. So yeah, if you guys didn't hear, I know we need Classic now. Alright, guys, we're hyped. We're hyped. We're big fucking hyped. Listen, listen, listen. So, I don't know if a lot of you guys did hear. We did get a minor, very minor blue post yesterday, right? Very, very minor. About how many characters you can make per WoW account, right? So, obviously, on a... here we go right here. It's very small, very minor. In WoW Classic, you'll have the following character limits per WoW account. A maximum of 10 characters per WoW Classic realm. That's one more than we got back in the day, right? It used to be 9. A maximum of 50 characters across all of WoW Classic realms in your region. Only one faction per PvP realm. So there we go. That's what that's what we were saying in the chat. So right here, boys, per PvP realm, only one faction. So I mean, that honestly is the best news from all this. That means we have confirmed that there is no multi-faction on a PvP server. You can't be Horde, you can't be Alliance, and I hope that means no no cross-faction communication on that server as well. I hope they will lock that out for the Battle.net, and of course, no overlap or regard with character limits in Battle for Azeroth. Who cares about that? We did get a blue post. We did get one. It wasn't much, but you know what, guys? It's something, right? It's something to move forwards with. Marco, how you doing? I read that on MMO Champions, Jordan. Yeah, brother, it came out yesterday. Good day, baby. Good fucking day, baby. Hey, y'all, how's it going? Def Camp Holtzy, I'm doing great today, man. I had a pretty decent day at work. I gotta just tell you guys, my week at work has been insane this week. Just crazy, crazy, crazy. So you guys are the ones keeping me sane. So I got to thank you for that. Thank you for keeping me sane, guys. Thank you for keeping me, thinking about what really matters, which is Classic WoW. And, you guys on the Discord, like I said, a lot of you guys who haven't joined the Discord yet, join the Discord, man. We got a great family over on the Discord. Here's the link to it right here. If you guys aren't there yet, you want to just come chill with some good people who just love talking Classic WoW. So, let's see. They really can't lock out Battle.net yet. Coronet. Here's the thing, man. Is I fully expect for Battle.net to be integrated. Of course, it already is. Like they already talked about it. It is going to be integrated in Classic WoW. But the only question is like, will there be a limitation for cross communication on a PvP server? That's really all I care about. I could care less, honestly, about Battle.net being integrated in Classic. I expected that to happen, right? But all I really care about is to make sure that there's no cross communication on a PvP server. On a PvE server, I guess it really doesn't matter, right? Well, you can use that pop out the Battle.net launcher regardless, right, to allow cross faction. Can you? I wonder if we will get our forums rather than just the one thread. Yeah. So I don't know, guys. I feel like a Jedi already. Hammy just donated $5 through Super Chat. Thank you so much, Hammy. Hammy says, do you think there will be paid character faction change? If so, what are your thoughts on it? Hammy, thank you so much for the $5 donation. Hell yeah, brother. So do I think there will be paid character faction changes? No, I do not, Hammy, and this is why I think so, right? I remember when I made my first Night Elf Rogue, um, I got up to level 60, and I started to really want to play an Undead Rogue. I remember trying to contact a GM in regards to me wanting to switch my character to Horde. And, unfortunately, he gave me this spiel about, you can't do that. It's something that, once you're locked into your faction, you're locked in, especially on a PvP server. You would have to go to another server, create another character, and make him Horde there. So I think it's something that's very integral to Classic WoW, to Vanilla WoW, the feel of, being locked in. If you choose PvP server on this server and you choose Horde or Alliance, you're locked into that faction. I really feel like it's very important to have that, feeling of you're a Horde or Alliance on this server. And I think that, again, is another reason why there shouldn't be cross-faction communication, right? Especially on a PvP server. So think about it like this, and Hammy, to answer your question even more so, I don't think there's going to be many paid services for Classic. If there were to be any, I think it would just be server transfers to a smaller server, which would be less populated, which was actually something that was allowed back in later vanilla, right? So with the way the Classic WoW dev team has been going, they've been pretty strong on authenticity and keeping things the way it was in Classic and not allowing things that weren't really going on in Classic to be there. So obviously, cross-faction change was not allowed back in the day, and it wasn't, I don't think, until like Cataclysm or something like that, right? So I think that's something that they'll keep going, right? They're not going to keep they're not going to put something fresh in there like having faction changes, even on PvE servers. I really don't think they will. So if we do see any kind of paid services, I think it would probably just be server transfers, and at that, it would probably be very limited to what they could do with that. So, and as we saw in those pictures, which were technically not leaked from Blizzard, but they were the CDN pictures. They were pictures that someone had took the files from the alpha. There was no Blizzard shop icon or anything like that. So I feel pretty safe about it, guys. I don't think there's going to be anything like that. Can't do everything on one forum. Yes. No, can't. Just wanted to be for the Horde. Absolutely. Yeah, 4W. It was so funny, man. I remember back in the day, I had, listen, I made my first character. I had played Warcraft, 3, and a little bit of Warcraft 2 when I was younger. I know Melderon had Warcraft 1 and all that, and I had really not chosen or not understood too much about the Horde and the Alliance and the feel of it or anything like that. But it wasn't until I started to level up and get the feel for what the Alliance was and, what they were like, did I really start to want to make, especially being ganked from a lot of undead rogues myself. I just thought the idea of an undead rogue was really cool. And then once I made my Horde priest on another server, Bleeding Hollow server, I really just fell in love with the Horde, and I wanted to make my level 60 at the time, which was my rogue, Horde, right? Because I just loved the feeling of it. I loved the brother-in-arms kind of feeling. I just didn't fit in too much to the Alliance, even though I loved the cities and the architecture, and I loved a lot of that. But I just really wanted to become a Horde player, and I begged this GM. I was like, dude, please, I'll do anything. I'll pay however much you want me to. Just turn my guy into an undead. I was like, I'll transfer servers, and I really just think that that is something that is just not very vanilla at its core. I'm not going to relate it to like transmog or other things like that, but the Classic WoW developers have to draw a line in the sand, right? And so far they've been drawing that line in the sand with trying not to bring anything into the game that wasn't there in vanilla, whether it was 1.12 or what. Now, they had done some things that were like technical things, of course, like the raid frames, like the graphics, but when it comes to gameplay, when it comes to the effects of each person and what they could do with their character and things like that, I think they're going to limit it to vanilla type things, so nothing past patch 1.12. There's not going to be dual spec, there's not going to be things like that. It's going to be very limited to what we had in vanilla, and I think I have I have pretty strong trust in the Classic WoW developers right now, my dudes. I kind of want Transmog in Classic. Coronet, why? Why? Listen, guys. I'll say something about Transmog right now that I don't like about it, right? Personally, leveling through Vanilla WoW, it's very rare that you get a set of items that looks really good. Right now, on my Shaman, I hit level 40, and I got the SM Armory gear, right? So I got the chest piece, I have the legs, I have the shoulder, I have the helm from Armory, and it just looks amazing, right? And through my whole experience of leveling, even though you get this one piece of item, it's great, you get another piece of item, it's really good. Once you get a set that goes together and looks good, it's so much more important to me in that vanilla world, you know what I mean? And also, like, it's kind of like you're earning your colors, right? It's almost as though you have to go through these stages of having this shitty gear and having all this to get to the amazing gear sets that we have in vanilla. One thing that I think Transmog did, not knowingly, it was just a side effect from it, is that so many people would go to their favorite tier sets, tier 5, tier 6, and I feel like the current design of the tier sets kind of were not as good anymore, because maybe the developers do that. Hey, listen, these guys are going to transmog their gear to tier 5 or tier 6 anyway, so what's the point of making something original? I mean, if you guys seen these new BFA tier sets, I don't know if you guys have seen them. The new BFA tier sets look horrible, in my opinion, right? I do not like them at all. I think Transmog is just very... it takes away from the RP element of the game. It takes away, for me, and this is all personal stuff, right? It takes away the connection that I have to my character, right? When I get a new piece of gear and I get an item, I have either, the luck of it looking cool or the being unlucky of it looking shitty, and that's why a lot of times people will have an RP set, right? So you'll have an RP set that you'll walk around in, Ironforge with, or Orgrimmar with, or Stormwind with, and then you'll have your set that you do damage with. And I just think it's really cool because there's so many unique art assets in vanilla, and in the Burning Crusade, that it's so cool when you do get something that looks badass. It makes it that much cooler. Having Transmog just takes that away from me. So. And they're literally all the same. Yeah, Eric, I know. Yeah, the new BFA ones, I don't know if you guys have seen them. We can look at it real quick. So these are, I guess, the patch 8.2. Let's see what it is. So WoW patch 8.2 tier sets. Okay, yeah, guys. I mean, no, this is not it. This is, 21. I don't think this is the one that I saw. Well, the caster ones, this isn't the one that I saw, I don't think. They all look the same, though, and I mean, I don't know. I just think that they're not very original, a lot of them. Things like this, it's just that they this is tier 12. I don't know what. Here we go. Patch 8.2 tier sets. Oh, this is 8.1. This is all 8.1. Okay, so maybe the 8.2 stuff didn't come out yet. I think it's been data mined. Here we go. Okay, so if you look here, it's very, I don't know, I would say not original looking. This guy's got looks like seaweed coming off his shoulders. He's got like, it's very, Cold Tyrion or whatever, but I just don't think it looks good, man. I really don't. They just suck, in my opinion. Yeah, it looks like a lot of fist weapons, right? Get the retail shit off my screen, Giacomo. I'm sorry, brother. It was said that Classic will be released in the third quarter, so that means the earliest we'll be playing is July. Yeah, Bobby G, earliest we'll be playing is July. That sounds okay to me, man. That sounds okay to me. Absolutely horrible. What does that have to do with Transmog? Okay. Coronet, what I'm saying it has to do with Transmog, right? And my argument is this, is that over time, right? Over time, when after Transmog has been in the game for so long, the developers start to realize, or and this is just my opinion, right? This might be total bullshit. It might not happen, but I feel like if I was a developer and I knew everyone was just going to use the transmog of the items that were the hits back in the day, it makes me not want to work so hard on the new tier sets. So what I'm saying is that I feel like a lot of these new tier sets aren't that good because the art developers don't try as hard as they used to because they know people are just going to use transmog anyway. That's my argument against it, right? So my argument is that transmog hinders the motivation of the art directors, okay? And that could be totally bullshit, but that's just how I feel, you know what I mean? I've never played WoW, but I'm thinking about it. Do you think a casual can play Classic? Okay. Maximus CZ, it's a great question, my man. Great question. Let's give him a break. They just had 800 people in the quarter report. They're down to 3 million subs. Yeah, I know, Vomp. I know, brother. I know. It's pretty bad. So here's the good thing, right, guys, is Vomp and everybody, Classic is coming out, and I think it's going to be a great success. And Maximus's question, I think, is great because a lot of people feel like Classic WoW is not a very casual-friendly game, and I'll be the first person to call bullshit on that, okay? I think Classic WoW is probably one of the most rewarding versions of the game for the casual player, and this is why. You don't need to raid to feel successful. You don't need to do endgame content to feel successful. You can literally level, enjoy the leveling process, explore the world, play with friends, PvP, do dungeons, do all the amazing dungeons that are in there at your own pace, right? There's no one rushing you telling that you have to hit level 60. Also, a lot of the raids are still relevant at level. So when people are doing AQ40, people are still doing MC, people are still doing BWL, people are doing ZG for the longest time. A lot of the raids are still relevant. So even if people are doing Nax at the time and you're still trying to work on your tier 1 set, there's a good chance you can still find pugs doing it. I really think that Classic WoW is probably, and it can be potentially, more casual friendly than any other version of the game. And I know it sounds crazy. Some people are probably thinking it's bullshit. But, I mean, look at the leveling process, right? Just look at the leveling process. How many people do you guys know who literally just play for leveling, right? And the thing about classic leveling, it's so rewarding when you look at it in terms of what you get every level. You get a talent point. Every 2 levels you get training. You know, you might get a blue weapon from a quest line or from a dungeon that will last you 20 levels, right? And when you get that weapon, you feel so much more powerful. You can actually feel your character grow. You see the progression, right? And for a casual player, it's very rewarding. And I've been a casual player who has just leveled, right? I'm doing it pretty much right now on one of my characters. I'm leveling my shaman, and every level I get, every new piece of item I get, it feels so good. Every time I get involved in world PvP and kill somebody, and every time I join a group and do a dungeon, and I you know, cleared SM Armory, I got my Ravager, got my gear set, I felt like I completed something, and I fucking love that. So yes, Riz, I did wash my ears today. Yes, Alan, the alarm clock is working. It's not blinking, guys. Is the lotion on your bed? No, the lotion's on my face right now, guys. So are you guys listening to what I'm saying here? Okay, I'm trying to say that Classic WoW is casual friendly, alright? You guys are more worried about the fucking lotion and shit. Vanilla was peak of WoW, Giacomo, absolutely. And listen, guys, you know, a lot of the Blizzard stuff may look grim with BFA, but I really feel that Classic WoW is going to succeed, man. It's going to do great. It's going to do better than I think all of us can imagine. I really feel that there are a lot of people out there who don't understand yet the potential of Classic. People who even played the demo and thought it sucked. You know, I always say this, I think the demo was really not a good interpretation of what Classic WoW really is, so I'm waiting for people to give it a shot and to fall in love with it, man, because I think a lot of people are. And a lot of it depends on how the player base who has been experienced welcomes the newer players. And I think if we're welcoming to a lot of the newer players, it'll be beneficial not only to us, but to it'll be beneficial to everyone. Honestly, I really believe that, man. Is that lotion on your bed? Is there really lotion on my bed? Yeah. That's lotion. I got lotion and tissues right there next to my bed, guys. Nothing going on over there. I was just I put my face has got. Okay, never mind. Are you still no changes? Are you changing for Blizzard shekels like Esvan? Are you still no Helion? I've always been no. I mean, listen. I don't know if you think I'm not no changes. Then I mean, look, you can think whatever you want of me. Honestly, I don't really mind if you think I'm a shill or whatever. I honestly am fucking excited to play Classic WoW, and if I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm not excited to play Classic, and that I think that it's gonna be a failure because of progressive itemizations. I don't know. I totally expected the progressive itemization thing to happen the way it did. I totally expected for a lot of things to go down the way it did. I'm still gonna fucking play Classic. I'm still gonna enjoy the shit out of it. I'm still gonna play with the people, with this community that I love, which is gonna make it a success no matter what. You know, and are there things I'm worried about? Absolutely. Am I worried that, you know, MC might be a little bit too easy if things continue down the road we are? Because, you know, like we were talking about yesterday on GMA, it's more of an accumulation of things, right? It's not just the itemization. It's not just world buffs. It's not just you know, consumables. It's all these things together. It's, you know, if the world buffs are on the timers that they are on private servers, if people are running in there and, you know, doing this content at a pace that's much quicker, will have an effect on people. Yeah, but, you know, when you look at the whole big picture, my man, everything's looking really good. I am so psyched about the PvP content. I am so psyched about, you know, Phase 1 where there's no dishonorable kills. I am so fucking psyched that Phase 2 has no battlegrounds and the only way to rank is to do world PvP. I am so fucking psyched for so many things come Classic. Was it going to be exactly as I wanted? Absolutely not. I expected to have some compromises, you know what I mean? And I really think we're at a good point right now. So if you think that's being a shill, I'm sorry, brother, but nothing else I can do. Yeah, I did wash my ears. My friend used to just level everything to 30. Yeah, Colin, that's a thing that I knew a few people who would literally just level to like level 40, level 50. They love the Scarlet Monastery dungeons, so they would level, do the Scarlet Monastery dungeons, make a new character, and you know, they would have, you know, basically one of every kind of class, and they would go back and forth from playing each one of those classes. And a lot of people play the game like that. Chimley says, hey man, I remember those days too. Yes, I plan on being a hardcore casual, says Polo Fiend. I'll be putting tons of time in, but taking my sweet ass time. Absolutely, brother, I love it. Face looking good. Thank you, Colin. I got the Shia butter on, my man. Almost too casual friendly. Yeah, Corn, here's the thing, right? A lot of people would talk about Classic WoW and, you know, this, that, and the other, and how it's unforgiving. But when you look at it relative to all the other MMOs that were going on at the time, people used to call WoW the Care Bear version, you know, the Care Bear MMO, because it was so forgiving, right? Imagine playing an MMO where you could actually lose levels, lose progression every time you died, right? Or you could lose gear, or, I mean, imagine like dinging level 60, right? And then you get ganked or something happens, and then you go down to level 59. Like, how bad would that feel, man? Chimley, yes, love the Scorecraft. Guys, if you haven't checked out Chimley's Scorecraft videos, go ahead and give him a check. He's got some of the best content here on YouTube regarding Classic WoW, regarding anything, really. If you guys love music, and even if you don't, if you just love Classic WoW, make sure to give Chimley's channel a check. I'm going to put a link in the chat real quick, guys. Go give him some love. He can use some subs. He can use some views. A lot of his shit is just so fucking good. Ion, how you doing, my man? How you do? Yeah, die and lose XP, dude. I couldn't imagine. I could not imagine. MC could be harder. You know, Izzy, I really feel that, like, MC is a great introduction raid. I do. I don't think, you know, and I thought about this before, and, like, would I be against, you know, I am pretty much no changes, right? But would I be against Blizzard maybe going behind everyone's back and maybe slightly tuning up the bosses a little bit? I don't know if I'd be against that. I'd probably be for that. I was talking to Dunedin about that yesterday. Like, I don't know, man. Cheers, guys, by the way. Snapple here. I don't want MC to be... What was that noise? I don't even know what that was. Oh! Sarmonicon has used 10,000 bits. Sarmonicon, Jesus Christ. Bleed Purple, 10,000, bonus 1,000. Keep up that WoW hype. Sarmonicon, thank you so much, brother. Hell yeah, brother. I can't thank you enough, my man. You have been such a amazing support for not only myself, but dozens of other content creators. And from the bottom of my heart, my man, thank you so much. So, you know, I really, it's like this, right? You know, at the end of the day, looking at Molten Core, there's still going to be people who are going to struggle in certain fights. And I say this all the time, right? You know, Gar is going to be a wall for some people. Shazra is going to be a wall for some people. Baron Geddon is going to be a wall for some people. Major Domo is going to be a wall for some people. And of course, Ragnaros is going to be a wall for some people. These bosses take strategy. You know, it's not like an LFR. And, you know, I've played retail, you know, in Legion and things like that. I've done everything from LFR to Mythic rating clear. I cleared, you know, three of the Mythic raid tiers in Legion. So, you know, in LFR, you can basically just bypass mechanics, right? If the healers are good enough, people can sit in fire or whatever, except for the few of the game, you know, this really game-breaking mechanics where you need to taunt or do things like that. But for a lot of the DPS mechanics, you can literally just sit through them and be healed through it, or do whatever, ice block, whatever you have to do. You know, in Classic WoW, if you don't have enough of the ads, you know, taken care of on Gar, you're gonna wipe, right? If you tank the ads near the raid and when they blow up, people are gonna die. If people are calling out to you and saying, "Def Camp, you're the bomb. Def Camp, you're the bomb," and you think they're just praising you and not telling you to get the fuck out of raid, you know, people are gonna die. If you stand in fire, things are gonna happen. So, and remember, it's gonna be 40 people, right? 40 people. So for the most part, pugs. If one person fucks up on a Baron Geddon fight, he can wipe the entire raid. So I still think there are going to be instances of people, you know, fucking up in MC. For the most part, are people going to go through it pretty relatively easily? Yes. Guys, got to remember, it was the first raid of World of Warcraft. The very first raid. You know, and then you go into BWL and people get stuck on Razor Gore. You know what I mean? It happens, man. People get stuck on Valstraz. SC Afterlife has used 100 bits. Tier 100 for Leroy. Hell yeah, brother. Tier 100 for Leroy. That's another thing, man. You know, I really feel like people underestimate even some of the dungeons at the end game of Classic WoW. Like, a lot of us guys who have been playing on private servers for a while, we've done it so many times, and we know the mechanics, we know the fights. You have to forget about those people for a minute, because we are the minority. For people who have played it on private servers, for people who have done it, you know, multiple times back in the day, things like that, we are going to be the minority come Classic WoW, right? The majority is going to be people who have never done it before, or they've either done it so long ago they don't remember. Why, thank you. Are all specs playable? Maximus, good question. So, all specs are playable, but all specs are not optimal, okay? In certain settings, right? So, there are optimal specs and there are viable specs. So, talking about rating, right? You know, tier 1, say phase 1 rating, optimal specs are going to be, obviously, you know, frost for mages. You know, because as a fire mage, there are things that you will have problems with in Molten Core. You know, the optimal specs will be, you know, Fury Warriors, will be combat rogues. You know, the thing is, when you're asking are specs all playable, they are in respective, you know, in their own respective kind of niches, right? So, obviously, you know, yeah, elemental and enhancement, they might not be optimal for PvE, but you better bet your ass they're optimal for PvP, right? Elemental enhancement are amazing for PvP. They might not be the best for PvE. It doesn't mean you can't go in there and be a totem twister, right? For a raid. And remember, guys, I say this all the time, it's not always about just damage that you're doing in Classic WoW. It's not just about the healing that you're doing. It's about what you bring to the table. It's about the utility of your class. Do you bring totems to the table? Do you bring blessings to the table? Do you bring dispels to the table? You got to remember, so many fights where, as if you're a priest or a mage, you're going to be doing nothing but dispelling or decursing. So when you think about things being playable or optimal or viable, you have to look at your respective niche, right, of what you're doing. Hunters, BM hunters are amazing at leveling. Marksman hunters are more of the playable class for PvE, right? And PvP at end game, but BM hunters are amazing at leveling. Um, you know, prot paladins, they have their issues with having no taunts and things like that. They are playable, however, in during the leveling process for AOE tanking, and also for tanking a lot of dungeons. So I would say that, yeah, pretty much almost every class is playable in its own respect. Maybe not. There are probably some specs that are a little bit more, like survival hunter. No one's gonna really put full points in survival or full points in, but assassination has its own thing. Towards the end of Nax, and combat rogues are great, and subtlety rogues are amazing in PvP. So yeah, I would say everything is playable in its own little corner, right? Honestly, I'm wondering what their plan is after they have for Nax for tier for like 3 years. Have been on. Oh, I'm wondering for what their plan is after they have been on like Nax tier for like 3 years. So Corinid, we have speculated with this before with Cargos. We speculated before on GMA and things like that, and I honestly think that we're gonna see we're not gonna see post Nax content in regards of like, Karazhan in vanilla, right? I think we're gonna see 2 or 3 possible things, right? And we've talked about this before, so I'm sorry if anyone has heard this before. We're either gonna see, where the timeline of vanilla plays out the way it did, and the Burning Crusade comes out, and you can either copy your character to that Burning Crusade server, or you have the option of keeping your player on that vanilla server, where you can continue. And Cargos was talking about this, where you can maybe consolidate some of these vanilla servers into like one server where PvP becomes the focus for a lot of these servers, but no added PvE content, right? I think the most logical thing in my eyes is for them to move on to the Burning Crusade, for them to move on to Wrath of the Lich King eventually. And I think, honestly, for me, those are the only other expansions that I would even be playing. Personally, I would love to play the Burning Crusade. Not so much Wrath. I mean, yeah, I'd probably dabble in it and have a little bit of fun, and I think they should also bring out new vanilla servers, so fresh servers, right? So a fresh vanilla server maybe could come out possibly after a certain server has been out for 2 years, something like that. Balanced Druids is none. Hey, Purpa Soda. Hey, man. Listen, Purpa. I've seen Balanced Druids in PvP who do fucking amazing. You gotta remember, Moonkin form, right, gives the same amount of armor bonus as, or just about the same amount of armor bonus as Bear form does, right? So being a Moonkin is actually pretty good survivability in terms of being hit from melee, and you do decent damage, right? I have seen Moonkin Druids do pretty fucking good in PvP. However, personally, if I were to do it, I'd probably be more of like a Resto Feral Hybrid, like a flag runner. And also, I've seen Moonkins in AQ and Nax. 3% crit. Like I said, guys, it's not just about the DPS you bring to the table. 3% crit is nothing to laugh at, man. That's gonna help the casters a lot. So a lot of times you'll see at least one Boomkin come to raids. And I really do believe we will see more hybrids this time around than we used to, because people understand that even if you just bring one, right? You bring one Shadow Priest to MC, which you can now because 16 debuff slots at the start means that it becomes more viable to bring Shadow Priest, right? I think we're going to see a Shadow Priest, and maybe not a Boomkin and MC. Maybe as the gear gets better and things like that, we'll start to see them. But I think we're going to see Totem Twisters. I think we're going to see, a few of these things for the more casual guilds, right? Because when it comes down to it, man, if you can clear the raid with 30 people or 35 people, and you have a full raid and a couple hybrid classes, you know, it's not a big deal, right? And if you offer this utility like 3% crit, like totem twisting, you gotta weigh your options, right? Is it better to just bring another DPS, or is it better to buff for DPS? You know. Will you be a totem slinger? Kuronnet? No, I will be a priest, my man. My main character is Undead Priest, Death Camp. I'm going to be healing. I'm going to be playing Shadow and PvP, my man. But I will have an alt. My alt will be a Shaman. Vomp! Vomp has gifted a sub, tier 1, to Grace for Days. Grace for Days. Give Vomp a round of applause, man. Thank you, Vomp, so much, my man, for the gifted sub. Again, guys, also thank you for the donations and for the Sarmonican with that 10,000 bits. Jesus, my man. You guys are my family, man. I love you guys. You are brought for the totems, not for anything else. You know, if you have Nightfall, Corn, then you would be brought for that as well. But yeah, you're pretty much right. I mean, in the respect that if you're going to be a totem twister, right, you're basically being brought for, I mean, yeah, can you do some DPS? But remember, even with 16 debuff slots, you're still limited to how many debuff slots you're going to bring, right? People are not going to want you to use Storm Strike. People are not going to want you to use, other debuff slots that are going to be more important for other people. So, for the most part, you're going to be white hitting. And if you're going to be proccing Nightfall as a Shaman, but, you know, it is better to have, like, a melee hunter to spam wing clip to proc Nightfall. But you know what I mean, I would be happy with just having a totem twister with Nightfall. I think that could be definitely viable. But think about how beneficial it is for that Shaman, you know, in that group, or for the people in that group. If you have a tank, right, that's Grace of Air and that's Wind Fury. Agility increases your dodge, your armor, you know, increases your crit, which increases your threat, your damage. And Wind Fury, not only is it, I mean, every time you get that extra hit, that's extra rage, which is extra threat, which is extra damage. So that alone being so beneficial to the tank is just so nice. It will make it a lot easier for that tank to hold threat, which is very important for the Horde, right? The Horde have a lot of threat problems, as you guys know. We don't have, Blessing of Sanctuary, right? So having that extra bit of threat from a Shaman with Wind Fury and with Grace of Air is huge, and you can't really weigh that much benefit. It's hard to weigh that. It's hard to put a number on that benefit. You know what I'm saying? What are your thoughts on BC class design? I feel like it keeps classes viable in all aspects without taking their uniqueness away. Yeah, Ken, for the most part, I think BC class design was probably at its best in BC. There were some things like I didn't like. I would have rather enhancement shamans stay the way they did. In a few ways, right? I wish they didn't put the internal timer on Wind Fury, but you know, I think it was beautiful the way that they brought so many other classes, you know, a little bit more balanced together, like the way Shadow Priest ended up, the way Elemental came together, the way, you know, even Ret Paladins, especially on the Horde with Seal of Blood and things like that. I really loved class design, especially with healers. You know, Holy Priest in the Burning Crusade is my favorite healer, my favorite of all the fucking healers, man. Sounds like we got some more bits. SC Afterlife has used 100 bits. He says, what do you think about eventually Blizz creating new content in the classic vanilla BC style? So, when I'm creating new content, so Afterlife, do you mean like new expansions, or do you mean like post vanilla stuff? So it sounds like you're saying, how do you feel about Blizzard creating expansions in the future that are more in the element of what vanilla and BC were? So here's the thing. That sounds great, right, to me, and I think it would be great. But the retail community has come to, and I know a lot of people are very unhappy with retail today, right? But I don't think the way to fix retail is to really just make it like BC or Classic. I think for the most part, it's too far gone. And we've had this conversation before. It's really a tough thing to talk about because it's hard to speculate with this, right? So say for example, Blizzard just, and I want to change the music up. This is kind of dreary. I want to put something a little. Let's put some Baron's music on. Yeah. So say for example, right? Oh God, don't tell me I'm being all laggy now. Hold on. What the hell is going on here? Are we lagging? Yes, we are. God damn it. Okay, we're back. Okay. We're okay. We're good. Are we good? Let's make sure. God damn it, Melderon, stop downloading porn. Okay. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. Is it buck? Yeah. Yeah, I am. They are. Alright. I think we're back. Alrighty. We're good now. Okay, so are we good? Yeah, we're good. Okay, Jesus Christ. All topic. Do you think Cane's chicken is the best? Cane's chicken. All right, we're good now. So I never had Cane's chicken, my man. Never had it. So here's the thing. When it comes to trying to make, retail WoW in the same vein or the same aspect as like BC or Classic, I think one of the most difficult things to deal with is the retail community, right? They are happy with a lot of these changes that we aren't happy with. A lot of people like, playing with pets and doing these, quests that give you epics and getting Titan Forged gear and having transmog and a lot of things like that. So it's really hard to just expect the retail community to just be okay with these changes. For me, like selfishly, if I were to look at retail WoW and say, what are some things that need to be changed with it, right? I would definitely say, get rid of Titan Forging. Get rid of, I mean, honestly, the list just goes on, LFR, so many things, right? But you've given so many people all these things over all these years. To take it all away from them, to take it all away would be so detrimental, and I think they would end up losing way more people than they would gain, right? So I think at the end of the day, yeah, they can play Go Pokemon there. At the end of the day, they would end up losing way more people than they would gain, right? I think the best thing to have right now is to have, and I'm not saying, Cornet, I'm not saying that you're wrong for liking those things. I'm just saying, for me personally, those aren't the things that I look for in the game, right? And I think the best option to have, right, is to have the retail style game, have the classic style game, have the people who enjoy playing classic play classic, have the people who enjoy playing retail play retail, and have people who enjoy playing both play both. Are there things that retail can do to be better? Yes, absolutely. Can they look towards BC and vanilla to work on those things? Yes, absolutely. But I don't think you can take away a lot of these things that they've already implemented, like LFR, like Titan Forging. Honestly, I think Titan Forging is probably, for me, when I was rating, one of the biggest things that I thought was one of the biggest detriments to retail WoW. Titan Forging, LFR, people being able to go into normal dungeons and get Titan Forged gear that was higher than Mythic Plus, people going into doing regular quests and getting epic gear, it doesn't feel rewarding. You know what I mean? I don't feel rewarded when I do a stupid daily quest and get a Titan Forged piece of gear that's better than what I have. It doesn't feel right to me, right? So could they work on a lot of those issues? Yes, I think so. But when looking at the overall changes of how retail has changed over the years, and a lot of the things that have been implemented, I think if you were to take all those things away, it would just end up pissing more people off than making people happy. And that's something that retail has fought with for a long time, is that, there's so many different people in so many different camps, because retail nowadays has so many different things, right? Classic didn't have arena, it didn't have LFR, it had the PvE aspect of things, which was dungeons, raids, you had your leveling experience, you had your BGs, you had your world PvP, and honestly, there was other things you could do. You could explore, you can do things on your own, and that's the thing that was amazing about Classic WoW, is a lot of it was character created, was created by the community. Blizzard started to implement things on their own over time, like Arena, where in Classic you had the Gorobashi Arena. If people wanted to do Arena, they went to Gorobashi, they had their fun there, did little things like that, they had their World PvP. And then Blizzard, as they started to implement more things and more things and more things, there were people who were fans of this but weren't fans of that. There were people who were fans of Arena and this and that. I'm just saying this and that, but weren't fans of the other things that they were fans of. So you had these new little camps of people that want to see the game go this way. These people want solo queue. These people want no LFR. These people want transmog. These people don't want transmog, and it's become just this mess of all these different camps of people. And I think that's where a lot of their issues lied, is like they don't know who to listen to. They're getting information from so many different people, and they're getting so many different things. They're hearing so many different things that it's hard to go forwards, because every time they try to move forwards, it's like they take 2 steps backward. So I think which makes it a lot easier for us in the Classic community. So many of us know what we want, right? We want an authentic Classic experience. For a lot of people, that means a little bit different things than others, but for the most part, we are pretty set on what we know we want, right? A lot of people know that they want an authentic Classic experience, and there is only so much you could do to change that. So yes, Smork, honestly, I agree with you, my man. I agree that retail is getting to the point where it's beyond repair. And some people are happy with retail. For me, in my eyes, it's beyond repair in my own eyes. For me, if I were to go and play retail again, it would have to have changed so much that I feel like people who play retail now wouldn't want to play it. So, and that's not fair to them, right? It's more fair to have Classic for someone like me and retail for someone who likes retail. I think that's the right way to do it, honestly. I think hopefully, Sleepy 2, how you doing, my brother, my man? How you doing, my dude? Sleepy 2. I think it's better, honestly, for me to look at something like a new MMO coming out, like possibly World of Diablo, or a totally different MMO or something like that. SC Afterlife has used 1 bit. Thank you, my man. Cheer 1. I'm not saying that force retail to change. It would be branching off of the upcoming Classic WoW eventually. Oh, okay. Okay, so totally different conversation. Yeah, so I wasn't sure which one you meant, my man. So, well, I'm glad we went through that thing. So this, honestly, SC Afterlife is something that okay. You look at what happened in Classic WoW, right? We had Classic, and then we had the Burning Crusade. And a lot of people say, well, if your known changes, then that means, then you eventually want the Burning Crusade. But a lot of people wanted to see Karazhan. A lot of people wanted to see a lot of these raids that, were hinted at. And they wanted to go to Hyjal and do all these things. Honestly, I feel like for me, my main thing is I really wanted, and I really still want to play the Burning Crusade, right? I don't necessarily think that the people that they currently have, I'm not talking about the Classic WoW developers, right? That is a smallish team. In order to create brand new content, right? To have, say, Karazhan in vanilla, which I already have a problem with because Karazhan obviously was in the Burning Crusade, and Hyjal was in. So would it be totally new content? This is the question, right? Who's going to be making that content? Is it going to be the Classic WoW dev team? If so, these people, from what I understand, they're more like a so imagine you're at a museum and there's a piece of art, right? They're more of the people that are trying to restore this piece of art than actually create a new piece of art, right? So these are people that are specifically here for a job to restore something and to make it as it was. Uh, it seems like it would be a lot more money and things involved to create a whole new piece of art. So right, so to create a new tier or a new expansion, not expansion or more stuff after Naxxramas. I don't necessarily feel like I 100% would trust that development, right? If we had the same people, and not even that, if the same people were, because people change, right? If the people were the same as they were then, and it was a time where it was a perfect storms of like RP, and we had Lord of the Rings was really popular and all this, and I'm sure all this added up to making Classic what it was, right? People like Kevin Jordan and class design. I mean, they talk about class design, like what happens to the classes? Did they stay the same? Do they change? Do tier sets change? All these things. For me, there's just so many unknowns that I'm like I'm afraid. I'm afraid of what could happen. At least with the Burning Crusade, there's a sense of knowing what happened, and I don't have to worry that it would put a stain on Classic. Because my biggest fear is that it would somehow stain Classic WoW or my experience of Classic WoW, and I would now associate this new content, with my Classic WoW. And I know it sounds really selfish. I know it sounds really kind of whatever, but that's just how I feel, man. I feel like in my experience, like I just want to play Classic the way it was. I have never, and maybe for someone who has cleared all the content, so I'd actually like to hear like someone like Al or something like thinks about this. I don't know if he's free right now. Let's see if he's free. I would like to hear what someone who has like experience, who has played all of Classic, right? Who has gotten all it was, who has heard it all, and to see what they think about this, because I've never been inside AQ40. I've never cleared it, right? I never cleared Nax in vanilla. I cleared it in Wrath and shit like that. I've been saving this experience for Classic. Okay, Al's here. We're going to add him to the call real quick. Let's call him real quick. You there, brother?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, guys. So if you guys don't know who Al is, why don't you introduce yourself first, Al?
Yeah, so I'm Ale. I've been working with the Classic WoW Live project, and I'm a long-time Classic enthusiast, as you say. I played Vanilla originally, really extensively, and then more recently been dabbling a lot on private.
Hell yeah. And by the way, Al is also he's just really knowledgeable and is a hell of a fucking guy. And he's also Canadian, so we're not gonna hold that against him though. But so I don't know.
You say that, but you and your brother are awfully hard on.
I know, we love you, man. We love you. So we've been Al is so loud. Okay, I turned him up because I wanted to see if you should be good now. Okay. So we were talking. I don't know if you were listening, right? We're talking about possibility of post Nax content, right? So I'm someone who has never. I still have yet to experience AQ40 and Nax, right? And my thoughts behind this is, like, I'm afraid that the implications of creating content post Nax could either put a stain on Classic and how I feel about it. That the developers are not the same people, and they're not the even though the Classic WoW developers are, in my idea, like they're kind of preserving and bringing this art back. I don't know if they're people that are able to make post Nax content and it to be in essence Classic content. So how do you feel about all that kind of shit?
Yeah, like to me, like the discussion on post next content was always about TBC or not. Um, Having them be able to create something that's kind of faithfully correct to, you know, what classic is, I think would be really difficult for them to do. Like, but that being said, if they were able to pull something off, I think they would have to do it in such a way that classic would still be preserved and that people like it would be more like an optional way for people to go,
Right.
either like by like a side expansion or something like that, like without like a level cap increase. Um Honestly, I don't care about like kind of post-max content like that.
Yeah. It's
I'm
just
happy with keeping it the way it was.
yeah, and that's why I just like because I mean for someone like you, you've cleared all of vanilla content, right? You've done everything. Cor-
That's correct.
Correct. So and like I was thinking, I was like maybe this is something that people who have experienced everything that vanilla has to offer, which technically I mean I still feel like even though I've experienced a lot of it, there's still I'm like learning something new every day, and I'm sure you can attest to that. Like, there's so much in vanilla WoW to learn still, but when it comes to like PVE content, there was only so much. Yeah, Nax was hinted at, not Kara was hinted at, other things were hinted at, but I feel like they went to TBC for a reason, and it didn't happen. So like I feel like it would just be wrong to do that. And I don't know. I felt like maybe a lot of people who, and I know Dokken is someone who like he really wants to see post snacks content, and people who really love like vanilla WoW and want it to continue in their idea, they want this to continue. But I just don't think it's gonna ever be what we want it to be. Like I don't think it would ever be what we have in our minds so that it could be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the huge fear is that they would try and fail and it would kind of tarnish the original classic legacy with something new that's, an abomination. But a,
Exactly.
a third a third option that I haven't really heard people discuss, which I think is interesting, is that, you know, pending classic is as successful and popular as like we all expect it to be. Like, what if Blizzard actually has a change in design philosophy, and either in their next iteration of an MMO or maybe even in the current game, they start like rolling back the clock on a lot of things, changing how the game is so it isn't, so user friendly,
Hmm.
soloable, things like that. What if classic is so popular that it moves the needle, right? And that it makes it so they have an entire design shift. So moving forward, they change how their games are being made to be more in line with like a classic philosophy.
Yeah, that is something that like for me, like we've talked about this before, and like I feel like retail is already too far gone in a lot of senses, but I do feel like if this were to happen and if Blizzard were to ever work on a new MMO, I feel like they've learned so much, right, with retail and how things went there, and they've kind of buried themselves in now. Like I don't know if you heard earlier, I was talking about how there's so many different things in retail, so many different camps of people who want to see certain things that I feel like if they were to take away a lot of these things now that a lot of the people, the classic people, have issues with in retail, they would piss off more people than make people happy. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, like I think you're kind of right. Like, it's like cooking a lobster. Like those guys are baked into that kind of gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think there would almost have to be like either a new game or like a second gen MMO or something. Um, it would have to kind of start like something fresh, right?
Right.
Under like a new mindset, or else, yeah, once they start taking things away, like it's crazy because you see like in like not to like crap on BFA players, but you see posts all the time there, like people asking for them to make the game even easier. Like there was a
Mm-hmm.
post in the forum saying, "Oh, the time between 60 and 80 is too long. Like I want that to be reduced," and it's already like extremely short.
Yep, exactly. And it's like, and we were talking about earlier how first of all, I'm going through these screenshots real quick. If you guys don't know where these screenshots are from, again, they're from the website classicwild.live. You want to go through them, like little things like this, like looking at, I'm like watching Navik's picture of the AQ event and things like that, and like I just feel like you know so much of what vanilla was and classic WoW focused on the community. There were so many things that we did together and created together that's where the beauty of it was. It's like so many things were created from the community. Yes, Blizzard had their hands in putting out new content and things like that, but I don't think there was any other iteration of WoW where the community had so much play in it, right? Everything else, like nowadays, it's very, it feels very handholdy. It feels like, you know, you know, going your journey from 1 through 60 was a fucking epic journey. I mean, look at these awesome screenshots. First of all, these are so fucking good. And there were so many adventures and things that you had, and like, and nowadays, you'll level what, 10 levels, 5 levels. It's this short journey. Everything's focused on this little bit of end game. They've kind of, buried their head in this, fact that, like, okay, you're going to focus on this one little area, this one little world. That's all there is. And I feel like it's already been like that for so long that to change that would just, I feel like they would just have to make a new MMO. You know what I mean? I don't think there's anything they could do to really bring retail back. I mean, Legion, like, I'll admit, Legion wasn't that bad of an experience. I had fun with, like, some of the Mythic Plus. I had fun in Mythic Rating, but there were so many negatives about it, like the Titan Forging, like the LFR, like not feeling rewarded, like doing friggin' quests and getting a piece of Titan Forge gear that was, way better than something they had just by kicking squirrels, right? Like, what the fuck? I mean, it's just, like, was not rewarding at all.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Karan brings up a good point that when WoW was originally released, it was actually it was like the easier version of MMOs compared to previous ones like
Yep.
EverQuest and things like that. It's really funny to see how that shift has changed. Like, I think I never played EverQuest or anything like that, but I know in previous games, like, you could die and you would lose experience and gear, and like even other games, I think like Lineage, like people could like loot your bodies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, and so for like WoW to remove a lot of that, a lot of people called it, actually they called it, like, kind of a Care Bear MMO. And it's funny now, like, 15 years later, that it's like this is like what people are seeing as like the like more hardcore
I
version.
know, it's crazy. It is, but it's like, you know, I couldn't imagine. Could you imagine, like, hitting level 60, right? And then you die and you lose like a level. People would go nuts. But, the thing is that so much of the MMO, I feel like so much of the MMO, I mean, do you even call it the MMO like genre anymore? Because what it's become is more of like a single player based games, especially with retail WoW, that just happens to once in a while have other people in it. You know what I mean? And like with the sharding and nowadays and everything that is oh, I don't know what happened, but everything that's like, the way it is nowadays, it just feels like it's an echo of what it once was. I don't know if I'm lagging a little bit. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of chop in there.
Okay, okay. Yeah,
Yeah, it's things have definitely changed in that regards. Like, even I was watching a video about the new patch announcement, and they were talking about how they've added NPCs for you to group with for difficult, like, group challenges, and it made no sense to me. It's like, why don't you group with other players?
wait a minute. So you're telling me that you can, instead of grouping with other players, they give you NPCs to group with?
Yeah, they've basically added like a couple new zones. I guess there's a new patch coming out, and I guess there's challenging mob fights there,
Okay.
and they've added a system in which you can like I think they already have followers, but these are like even better because you need help to fight them, right?
Right, right. Imagine, yeah, it's like, you know, so many times, and that's something that I felt like when I first started playing classic, or when I first started playing WoW back in whatever 2005. I felt like I was forced to ask other people, like, my it wasn't until I exhausted every resource, until I, first of all, read the quest myself, tried to find it for like at least, like a half hour or so, asked everyone in chat, asked everyone I could. My last option was always to go on Thoughtbot. Nowadays, like, the last option is to ask someone. You know what I mean? Like, that's the last option. The last option is to try to group up, and sometimes it's not even an option. Like WoW back in the day, it almost forced you and rewarded you for grouping with other people, right? Because there were quests where you couldn't do by yourself. There were things you couldn't do by yourself, and a lot of times you were rewarded for looking to others for help, and it's not like that at all anymore. It's almost like they've took out that feature completely. You know what I mean? Simulated
Yeah.
MMO. Yeah. Hold on. So Justin Reed says thoughts on the earliest levels. Most classes can solo Prince Najak for title charm. Uh, if I'm ahead of the pack, I don't want to find him and not be able to down a 41 elite on my feral druid. Have you ever? So I've never got the title charm. Have you, Al?
Sorry you cut out there for me.
I never got the title charm. Did you?
I did actually.
Did you solo it, or how did you do it?
I think when I got it at the time, I was already level 60, so it was a lot
Okay.
easier. It is pretty. He is pretty tough, especially kind of where he is out of the water. There's quite a few mobs there.
Hmm.
Um, you know, to get it to like get this down, like bring a friend with you,
Yeah, exactly. That's
somebody
what.
you
Yeah,
trust.
yeah,
If you
yeah,
can, like they may like it's tough. It's a really good item. They may want it. Um, but like that's easiest way. Like as a feral druid, like probably at equal level, you should be able to solo it. Maybe even a little bit before, but
yeah.
yeah, a really funny story actually. I had Title Charm and I used it at level 70 in arenas because they hadn't. And so I played with on a team where both of us had Title Charms in twos and we just like wrecked with it,
Oh
which is
my
kind of really
god, dude. Yeah, I know a lot of like a lot. There was a lot of stuff that was still really good at level 70. That was from basically from Vanilla WoW, right? I
and
know. Yeah.
and the thing about that I think is really cool is it shows how creative kind of their item design was for classic,
Yeah.
which has really been removed a lot in the more modern versions where like trinkets you think about it there aren't two that really are the same,
Hmm.
where like kind of like the modern design is everything is kind of just like a stat stick.
Yep. Or either a stat stick or it's like increases your haste or does something like that. They're all the same, and it's really true because they took chances in vanilla. Like they really did. Like they made items that you know some of them could be like completely broken, but someone who put the time in to get a lot of those items were rewarded. Like title charm, like for a class that doesn't have a stun, having that is so nice. And just being able to bridge that gap a little bit more for your class or whoever you are to be able to, go toe to toe with a class that you never could before. I feel like you were just so rewarded for whatever time you put in. And like nowadays, it's almost the opposite. It's like everyone has to be given the same. It's all on like a level playing field. It's got to be fair, and nothing can be too OP. Nothing can be too broken. And if it is, people complain and it gets changed.
Yeah, it's something that Kevin Jordan talks a lot about on his streams is that they put things in the game that were both kind of good and bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because either way, it creates a player experience. And if you allow players to solve those problems when it is bad, then it causes the social structure of the MO to function properly, right?
Yeah.
So like if somebody's in there terrorizing, one of your towns, it gives you a chance to, team up with somebody, to group with people and to like overcome that obstacle, right?
Yep.
Where if you just have it so, I don't know, the guards are too strong or you just can't do it at all, you just totally lose that.
Yeah, those Kevin Jordan interviews on Countdown have been so good. It's getting so much insight. But like, he specifically said like they would put items in there that were bad that made the good items look so much better. Like I love that. Like that's fucking awesome. You know what I mean? Like that just makes it. And I feel like in Vanilla WoW, no other in any other iteration of WoW, people remembered items, right? Like people remembered the names. People, once you got Benediction, it was like a huge deal. If you got Ash Candy, it was a huge deal. Like, yeah, like Warglaives of Azeroth, they were big and all, but like that. But in Vanilla WoW, a really good item could last you, like Lionheart's Helm, like things like this would last you your entire experience, or 20 levels, 30 levels. That stuff didn't really happen in the Burning Crusade or Wrath or any iteration of WoW afterwards.
And I guess that kind of brings us full circle because that's kind of why people are talking about, should we have, more content after? It's
Mm,
because Classic has like a really defined kind of like beginning and end, with everything, even like itemization. Like there are things that are best, right? So, it's like you said, is there things that should extend that? Should they add things that add on to that? I don't know.
yeah. Well, I do want to ask you something because we watched a video the other day where this guy who was a Wrath baby, he said he was a Wrath baby. He was talking about WoW Classic, and he was talking about how it isn't nostalgia, and I agreed with a lot of the things he said. But then he went ahead and said that AQ and Nax were easy raids. Um, for someone who has, cleared all the content in vanilla, first of all, how different is like AQ and Nax than MC and BWL, and also like tell us a little about like your experience in AQ and Nax and what it was like.
Do you mean comparatively to like private servers, or do
Well,
you mean like
at the time, yeah, at the time.
well, like everything was really like a step up, right?
Hmm.
Throughout Classic, they had made, you know, constantly everything was changing with the classes and the gear and everything. But every time a new raid instance came out, it was like a significant, increase in difficulty.
Mm.
And as well, like often it was like a significant increase in the strategy required too. A lot
Right.
of people like now it's a lot easier, people know the fights, other people have done them, you can learn kind of what to do. But going into a raid on the first day and not having any idea of, what to do and like actually like learning a fight and then learning how to beat it is like a totally different experience.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people forget that like original WoW is before YouTube. If you wanted a video on the net, you would have to like upload it to like some website and then download it to see it, right?
Yep. Yeah. That's. I mean.
So I know for me, I was in a guild where I wouldn't say we were cutting edge. I think there was always at least one guild that was better than us on our server, but we tried, everything right at the start. And so for us, I remember uh, BWL was actually huge because that first fight was crazy.
Oh my God. And that's. I think after that is when Blizzard started to try to make first fights easier. Right. It's because of Razor Gore. Right. It's because of.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
the 1-2 punch of like Razorgore and Vale,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Because like Vale was such a huge kind of like DPS check and heal check and tank check, everything in there that it was just too challenging for a lot of guilds to get by. Like I think he was like the original like guild break.
Yeah. I love that though, man. I love that. I think it's so cool that you walk into a raid and you're already fucking put to your test, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like at least for me, I remember that the raids would be they were pretty challenging when they came
Hmm.
because and a lot of that is like, people didn't really have any idea what they're doing. You're battling other things as well, previously like the internet and things like that and older computers and stuff. Um, how do I think they'll translate today? Do I think they will be easier? I think they will be, just based on the knowledge that we all have. But it still remains to be seen,
Right.
right? Like we don't know how all sorts of hidden values and stuff on private servers are going to be calculated. There might be a bit more of a challenge than people expect.
Wow. Yeah. And like something that I'm really interested in is like I never in vanilla. I like in actual vanilla. I only got to kill a couple bosses in MC and do some of ZG as well. So I remember it being a really big challenge for me in that time, right? And then of course looking back now on private servers, even though I'll admit like my first time through MC on even on private servers, like our guild we struggled on Gar, like we struggled on Major Domo at first. Not struggled like we were stuck on him for nights, but we wiped once or twice. You know what I mean? And that doesn't even happen in LFR really. It's like you kill a boss by just being there. You know what I mean? So I hate when people try to you know, relate like MC to LFR because it really isn't, in my eyes. But then you start to get to, uh, AQ and Nax, right? How much different was AQ and Nax from your experiences? Like was it like a huge step up, especially like Cthulhu, right? I know Cthulhu has been the bane for a lot of guilds and a lot of other people. Like, was it almost like two different games, like of how difficult it was compared to the other raids?
Well, I think for us, everything was pretty similar to BWL in AQ up until about Huhuran.
Mm,
So everything was on kind of a similar difficulty where, like, we would spend, a night attempting and then eventually get it down on each boss. Like, it still took a fair amount of time, if I remember, to get up to that point. Like, there wasn't really any one shots.
right.
Um, there's still like a learning curve for us to get it, but we would eventually push through without, too much struggle until we got to Hooveron.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of when the difficulty stepped up for us, is that the Hooveron, well, Visitus we only ever killed once. So
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
And that was just due to like not being able to share information among people and
Uh,
not knowing how to actually do the fight. Like nobody really knew, and we like didn't figure it out, and it was optional, so we just ended up skipping it most of the time.
wow. So, someone asked too for what was it like farming resistance gear. So like, did you guys know beforehand, like, okay, we need to go in this fight with resistance gear, or was it something that you found out naturally, like just by getting destroyed in there?
There was I can't remember how, but I think at some point there were some PTRs there having out where you could attempt some bosses.
Okay.
And because they had released these nature resist sets with like I believe like the Sandstalker set, or like there's a certain sets that came out around the time of AQ. Um, it was kind of hinting that there might be like a big need for that, and as well with the Dragons of Nightmare dropping nature resist,
Mm.
that it was kind of, I think there was kind of a feeling like, what, we're gonna need this. MC had fire resist, and so there was kind of a thought that we might need that, but I know that for a lot of us we weren't like we were not prepared.
Yeah, yeah, and
And so
that's yeah.
and so it was after struggling quite a bit with Huhuran and seeing how much nature damage was being put out, that a lot of us had to go back and farm that gear.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I know for a fact that like I back in the day, I knew a little bit about like resistance for rag and shit like that, but I didn't know until later, like in my time, that oh my god, like how much resistance played a part in a lot of the raids and things like that. And I think honestly, I love that aspect of the game. I love having to basically take off a lot of your really powerful gear for resistance gear. I think it's a really cool mechanic, and I like the way it feels when you're in that fight. Especially things like Rag and Huron and all those other fights where it's and having like a shaman, or having poison resistance and poison cleansing and stuff like that. It feels really cool when you're in it and you see how it affects the raid, right? But I wonder, when you guys got to Cthulhu, right? Like, what was your first impression when you guys like were like? How long did it take you to progress through Cthulhu?
Well, for us, we never ever felt like we ever had Cthulhu on farm,
Mm.
and he was always, or he, she, it was
Yeah.
always a like a boss that if we weren't kind of ready for it, it would, kick our ass,
Right.
and we would spend a night wiping on it, right? It was always a challenge for us all the way through, even when we were in Nax.
Wow. Wow.
And so I remember for us, like, it was really just like jubilation to get to Cthulhu.
Hmm.
Um, I think it's kind of like, I don't know if it's something that I feel like is missing from current game, but it's kind of like there's a lot of like excitement just in achieving, boss kills or getting to certain areas in Classic.
Right.
there's like a certain like kind of like level of prestige. Like you get in there, it's almost like a Cthulhu like waiting room. But you get in there, there's that. Hopefully this isn't like I guess you've seen Cthulhu, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
This is spoilers. There's that crack, and you can see him through the crack, and then
Yeah,
there's that room with the dragons
right.
in human form, right? It's almost like you get there and you can just kind of feel that, like, man, this
This
is
shit's
cool.
about to get real, right? Yeah.
And that was something really neat too, is that like the end bosses of all the instances, they had something like there's always something like really special,
Yeah.
like with Rag, the way he pops out and he's just so massive,
Yeah.
and Nefarian, you're kind
Nefarian,
of on top of the world,
so badass. Yeah.
so badass. And then this one, like you're fighting this like old like
Tentacle
you know
fucking porn shit. Like.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
so cool. One thing that people don't really talk about is like back in the day, people used to measure how successful you were by like the number of weeks it would take you to kill stuff.
Yeah, yeah, and now it's how fast that you can kill it, right? Now it's all about speed runs and shit. Well, at least that's what some people look at it. So, but real quick, Ludwig Duberg asked if any. He says a lot of hype here. Any news? So Ludwig, the only news we got a blue post yesterday, and it was just about how many characters you could have per server. It was also about you couldn't have cross faction, so you can't have Horde and Alliance on a PvP server, right? But of course on PVE you can, and so it's basically just stuff that we expected, and also Mountain Dew Ramen donated $1 through Super Chat. Mountain Dew Ramen sounds like what I'm going to be living on in a couple months. So thank you, my man, for the $1. So, and then obviously Al was the next one was Nax. So like Nax is something for me that I am really fucking excited about. I cannot wait to get my ass handed to me in Nax. I can't wait to progress through it. Like I completely Mountain Dew Ramen, thank you for another dollar. I don't know if you did that twice or so by accident. Let me know if you need that back or not, brother. But thank you, I appreciate it. I like really am excited for Nax. You know what I mean? I did it in Wrath, of course, and it was obviously nothing like the challenge that it will be in Vanilla. But like how much of we hear, like, so for someone like myself, I hear a lot of stories about Nax. A lot about the consumables and what you need, and how patchwork hit so many people, and it was just this like people never got past the first boss or second boss in Nax. And was it because Burning Crusade was announced and people just didn't want to do it, or was it that hard back then? Like what really was it?
Well, compared to AQ, I would say there's probably like one or two bosses in Nex at the start.
Mm-hmm.
Nubricon, maybe the mind control guy, I forget his name. Resuvius.
Resuvius, yeah.
Yeah, maybe those two are about on par with an
Mm,
tougher AQ boss.
right.
But the rest, like pretty much the rest of the bosses, were definitely a cut above and extremely challenging. There was a really good post on the WoW forums, classic WoW forums today, talking about like just how many spells and abilities changed over time.
Mm.
And a lot of people forget that a lot of spells were actually made to be a lot better right before next release.
Hmm.
So, one thing about that is, for example, that the cast time of all the largest heals were reduced from 3.5 to 3 seconds.
Mm.
Most of them were made about 9% more efficient, and this was all done with like Nax in mind. And even with that, it was still like super.
Wow. I didn't know.
And
I knew there were a lot of changes around that time, but I didn't know that that was to make Nax easier. Like that's crazy, and it was still the challenge that it was, right?
yeah, I think it was more just to like kind of like line everything up and make everything equal, so people would kind of all the classes would go in on the same kind of level with that. But yeah, they were made kind of to help the player with like kind of Nax was designed under those conditions.
Right.
And for us, our guild, we didn't use world buffs until the end of Nax even.
Ah.
So um, in general, we had kind of like a lot worse gear because in Classic, you don't end up farming stuff for as long. Like, people forget, like, with on private servers, if you're clearing everything first, second week, you're getting a full clear of that raid instance for your entire raid,
Right.
every week.
Right.
Where a lot of times in Classic, even for the best guilds, it would take, well, I don't know, you look at it, like, most instances weren't cleared for a month or two, right?
Yeah.
And the end bosses usually had the best loot as well.
Yep.
So
Yep. Rag and Ani, they're a whole tier above. Honestly, like that's crazy. You know.
yeah, so like the comparative gear levels of us going in at that time into Nax, really into any raid is gonna be much lower than like what it is currently
Mm,
that people are experiencing. And
gotcha.
so like that as well like also contributed to like the difficulty.
Right. Now, Antonio Felix said, how many potions and buffs were you guys using on average? So yourself, right? You were a mage, right?
Yeah, so most of us were using DPS potions and flasks,
Mm-hmm.
like as much as we could.
Wow.
But at that point, we didn't, like I said, we didn't world buff. It didn't really come out as a strategy until the end of Nex, and
Hmm.
then I remember us doing full buffs for like Saf and KT,
Oh, okay. Right. Which were a cut above the rest, right? I mean, I
which were another cut above.
I
Yeah,
couldn't imagine. I honestly I really can't wait to experience it for myself, and I want that challenge. Like, I enjoy being challenged in WoW, even though, like, there were some mythic raid fights that I did, like Mythic Gul'dan, and this were challenging, like 160 plus wipes, on one boss. And was that kind of how it was like on KT and stuff like that? Were you guys like wiping for weeks, time and time over and over again, or was it more of like a, you know, you guys were ready, you got in there, and then, once you got it down, it was like you guys had it down? Or did you ever have KT like down on farm? Or
never.
yeah,
So in I believe in North American servers, there's something like only like 50 guilds were
yeah,
ever able to kill him once. We only killed him 4 times total.
wow. So that's impressive, man. That's fucking impressive, dude.
And I think our server might have been one of the top, if not the top PV servers. There were 5 guilds on our server that killed Kate, which was huge.
What server are you on?
And it was Melganis
Oh,
US.
wow. Okay, yeah, it's a pretty big known. And what was your guild name?
At the time when we killed KT, we were Validus.
Okay.
Um, Earlier, we actually 2 guilds formed specifically to kill kind of like the last couple bosses. So
Oh, wow.
we merged with another guild and temporarily run under the name Placeholder, because just like the amount of gear and stuff required to progress on that was just huge.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, how much gold were you spending per week yourself?
I mean, it was a huge amount. Like I remember the main thing for me was just all the dream foil that it required because of so many resist potions. Like the frost resist potions, especially for Saf and KT, that was like I remember was the biggest expense. And combined that I would have like flasks of supreme power,
Mm.
um, I was always always lacking dream.
Oh my god, dude. Were you ever were your priest? So your priest, and did they go power infusion? Were they giving you power infusion, or were they like a holy hero spec?
I think they were holy. I actually have a video.
Really?
Yeah, if you want to check it out, it's pretty ghetto.
Is
I only discovered it this year after getting back in touch with some old friends that I played with.
is it on YouTube or?
It is, yeah.
Okay, link it to me, brother. I want to watch this shit. Hell yeah.
So I think this was our second last or last kill.
Oh, I can't wait to see this. Just link it in the Discord conversation. I'll watch it in the. Oh,
Oh,
you. Oh, yeah,
okay.
there it is. There it is. Okay, you put it there. That works too. That works too. Okay. I didn't know if you were going to be able to link it. So okay. So here we go. Validus.
I
All right.
think there's sound for a little bit, but then they cut off due to like copyright or something.
Oh, okay. All right. So here we go. Let's see. Okay. This is gonna be fucking awesome. All right. Oh my god. Look at these add-ons. Oh my god. Dude, then people say there were no add-ons back in vanilla. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So if you look at the guy has the entire raid on the right, you can see that I'm a mage in the like
Oh yeah, there you are, Al. Yeah, the first in the mage group. Yep. Wow. I love watching fucking original shit from vanilla like this, dude. This is so cool. So this guy's a priest, obviously. He has a shitload of buffs on. Actually, no, he doesn't have any flasks. Oh no, okay, okay. He just I guess didn't use them yet, or it's interesting, right? Because like looking
I
at
don't think he has a flask. I think
yeah,
he only has oil and a couple potions and well. So interestingly enough, um, like we would wipe for hours on this,
I can imagine.
and
Yeah, it's a
and
lot of gold.
that's why we only got it 4 times. Is there were a lot of weeks where we either didn't get to him because we couldn't kill Saf, or we would struggle on 4 horsemen, or wouldn't have the right people.
Right.
You know, we lost a lot of lockouts.
All
Yeah,
right.
it's really potato quality. So
Yeah.
just realize it's from 15 years ago. Fraps, I think.
Oh yeah, fraps and yeah, and like the thing is too for a lot of people. I mean, I could only imagine. I remember doing this fight in fucking in Wrath and it being difficult. And I heard stories about how like the numbers were not like too far off for how they were in vanilla compared to Wrath. So I mean that's just unbelievable to know that like the I just can't. I couldn't imagine, dude. I would love to fucking be here for this. So obviously this happens for a while. The ads come in. Okay, yeah, the music cut off here, and then so the really hard part, right? So this keeps on happening. The priest is shackling. He's doing what he's got to do. Oh, what the fuck? I think we're lagging here as well. Um,
Yeah, I guess there's quite a bit of lag for people on stream right now.
yeah. Yeah, let me pause this for a second and see if it gets better. And close my other windows. Make sure I don't have too many up at the same time. I don't know if Melderon's downloading porn right now. That's probably what's happening. All right, let's make sure I have this shut. Okay, we'll shut that. All right. So you did this. You cleared this 4 times, right? Did it get like easier, or was it like every time was like you got lucky, or I mean, what was the hardest part of this fight?
I think for us it was the deep getting the enough DPS without dying.
Mm,
It's such like a war of attrition fight just due to all of the damage going out. I think a lot of times we wouldn't end up with enough DPS, either like being alive to be able to kill it, or
right.
sorry, I'm just you're working on stuff a bit. Yeah, so like often it was a matter of not being able to have enough DPS alive to keep pushing through. Um, I don't believe he has an overly aggressive enrage timer, but it would just be you'd start losing people, and then you just can't keep up, right?
Right. Yeah, it's like once you lose, a couple healers and shit like that, it's over. Yeah. And the AoE damage, so uh, you know, what was the main thing here? I guess the resistance frost or for this fight, right? Um, but you would just use, I guess, like some I mean, what the main I forget this fight. Honestly, I don't remember much about this fight. Oh wow, your priest is using Lightwell. That's. I've never seen a priest use Lightwell. Like, and it's so weird because people used it back then, but nowadays no one uses it because no one clicks on it. Right? It's so funny seeing that.
Right.
It's just wow. It's like, yeah, I don't remember exactly what happens in this fight. I forget. It's been so long since I even did it in Wrath. I remember that shit. You can't stand in those red circles, right?
Yeah.
The AOE damage that goes out. How hard do the tanks get hit here? Because it looks like they're getting hit pretty freaking hard. Um,
Yeah, so he does hit, fairly hard. It's the he does a casted frostbolt that has to be interrupted,
uh-huh.
and if it's not, it'll either one shot or almost one shot the tank. I think it's hits about 9K.
Oh my god, 9K. God,
Yeah.
dude.
And so he does that, and the whole time he's kind of like messing with you. So like he will on cooldown he'll mind control like a set of players, and so if he mind controls, oh, someone just died there.
Oh yeah.
If he mind controls the people who are supposed to be kicking that rotation, and then frostbolts tank dies. If he like frost blasts the group that's supposed to be kicking, you know you have to kind of like be on your toes and have like contingency plans, right?
Right, right. Good old dwarf priest, man. Wow, this is really cool, man.
It's funny, hey?
I I just wish, dude. Like, you have no idea how much I wish. First of all, that I could have experienced the early vanilla, and how much I could have fucking experienced this. Like, I know I'll be able to do it in. I remember this. I remember the polys. Oh my god, that's right. This is all starting to come back to me now. Of course, like I said, I never did it in fucking vanilla, but the mechanics are basically a lot of the same. Um, I just, man, like, I know I'll be able to do it come classic, but one of my biggest, like, if I could go back in time, dude, fuck going to, like, you know anywhere else. I'm going to fucking 2005, 2006, and I want to fucking raid Nax, dude. Back in the day, because I just like. So what was it like the first time you killed fucking KT? What was that feeling like? I could just imagine.
I mean, it's combined killing like every end boss you've ever killed, right?
Yeah.
It had like a really high level prestige just because so few guilds killing it as well, right?
Right. Right.
And oh my god, look at that. Frost Blast kills like all the melee.
Oh my god, dude.
Actually, not bad. It only got a few.
Whoo! That
We were we,
AOE damage, just wow, wow, wow,
we
wow,
we were
wow.
probably really lucky to get this fight. Like I think at this point there would have to be like almost no more mistakes. I think we're lucky we had probably four druids. We probably were able to get a couple people up with combat res. But like that should have been like this should have been a wipe. Just
Oh
seeing it,
yeah.
seeing how bad that frost blast was.
Oh my god, that was horrible. Yeah, and then your priest got on top. I mean, prayer of healing, and you guys look like you're on top of your shit though, because the healing was just on point there. I mean, I'd imagine. Do you know how many wipes you had on this? Like a estimate?
I don't, but I know that we actually wiped on him for 8 hours at one point before finally getting him.
Wow.
And that one actually has like a kind of like a really special story because at the time I think they had announced that TBC was coming out. It might have even been the TBC pre-patch,
Mhm.
and we decided that we were going to go in and clear Nax again. We kept going the whole time. We just kind of wanted to. Other guilds stopped doing it because they had seen there's like new gear coming out. Like it's kind of not worth it. Like you might as well
Right.
just wait. But like for us, it's what we love to do. We kept doing it, right?
Right. Right.
And due to the way that like Nax had set up, you could actually get everything you needed for ATS except the staff because you had to kill KT,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
So there were like the amount of ATSs created in Classic are like there might be less than 100, honestly.
Jesus, dude. I always fucking wanted to have that thing. It's so badass, man.
And so what we did, our guild, is we actually brought in 4 characters from other guilds who hadn't killed KT to get them their AT. And we like I said, we fought for like 8 hours straight. I think it was in TBC pre-patch even, so like our abilities were even stronger, and we still struggled, like the greatest struggle.
Mm,
But we did eventually end up killing him and getting it down. And it was really a really great feeling because it kind of further demonstrates the community then that we would bring other people in, even from other guilds, just because we knew how important this was,
right,
right?
right.
How much time they had spent, how difficult it was.
God damn,
And like,
that frost blast. Oh my god, dude.
yeah, and even funnier still is I remember in TBC at 70, guilds were going back into Nax to do it, and I was invited to go in a run, and we were wiping, and they were wiping on KT. They couldn't kill
Oh
KT.
my god, dude. That's fucking nuts.
It's crazy, but the way that his abilities work, like, so for example, the Frost Blast, it isn't a damage number, it's a
It's a
percentage. It
percentage.
deals, I think it's like 40% of your health, you know,
Yeah.
every 3 seconds for 12 seconds or something. So it like ticks 120%. So like doesn't matter if you have more hit points, it's gonna kill
It's
you.
gonna, yeah.
And the Void Zone, same thing. It's like 200k damage. It's like it doesn't matter what your
Oh
hit points
my
are, it's gonna kill you.
god. Jesus Christ.
And the like the explode mana, it's like same thing. It's like 50 or 80% of your mana or something. So it's like the same thing, right? Everything was like a percent. So going in there and doing it at 70, it was still like almost as hard. The only benefit was having a lot more DPS.
Right.
And I remember going in there
There
and
he
people were just
goes. You killed him. Fuck, dude.
nice.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember people just losing their minds because they're like, "How is this still so hard? We should be destroying this."
Right. Right. Oh, man. And you know what too? Like, Al, it's like I looking at watching that fight, right? It's so amazing to like think of WoW, with Ragnaros to KT and how the mechanics and everything, how much they've changed since then. And like, I feel like the classic devs, like, they learned so much from the beginning of vanilla to the end. It's crazy, right? The drastic differences. It's so cool to see how different early vanilla was to later vanilla. You know.
Totally.
So Solus says, how will streamers change things? In that people wanting to help them in game with donations and whatnot, and for PvP guilds seeing them plan for raids and knowing it's coming. So this is a pretty good question. I really think that, like, you know, on certain servers where, of course, like Asmongold and like Soda Poppin is going to be there, of course those servers are going to be different, right? But overall, I feel like for the most part, as long as you're not playing on a server that has a big streamer on there, it's not going to be that different. What do you think? I mean, it's going to be relatively the same for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think it will be. There were big servers before due to popular, personalities and things like that. Like, for example, I know certain websites that would say, "Okay, we're rolling here." Everybody would go there.
Mm.
Like that's why Mal'Ganis was such a big server, is that it was the Something Awful forums, right?
Oh,
So like the entire forums all rolled. I don't even know if those still exist, but they used to be really big. So like that kind of thing was kind of similar. It did create like faction imbalances.
mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, are people really gonna roll that hard on people with streamer servers?
See,
Like,
yeah, and that's the thing. Like our server, right? It's going to be Cargos, Melderon, and I. Like, you're rolling with us, right? Um, Navik, Egregious, I don't think we're that influential to where like we're gonna like disrupt the server. But then again, someone like Asmongold or Soda Poppin, absolutely they would, right? So,
But see, I don't know. I don't know. I think that the reason that exists in the current game is that it's so much easier to level. You can buy a level up. Like, are people really going to roll on a server because they're fans with somebody and then spend like a month in game to level up just to be on the same server as them?
mm,
Like, that seems so stupid and superficial. Like, you're gonna ride around on someone's coattails as a fan just to be on the same server. Like,
yeah, I think honestly,
maybe people will do that, but like
yeah,
at least like for me, if it was me, I would want to just, forge my own reputation.
right, yeah. I mean, honestly, like I know there's people out there who really enjoy watching, certain streamers and they want to, interact with them. But for the most part, like that streamer is gonna, like someone like Soda Popper and Asmongold, like they're not even gonna be able to play on a PvP server. No way, dude. Like they're actually going to be camped like 24/7 if they do, you know. So people are talking about what are they talking about in chat? WoW token confirmed? What? Don't think it's maybe they will. Yes, they will. You're doubting how stupid people are in general. I think the modern WoW players that are in their fans will follow them. Modern WoW's not standing out. See that I'm sure it was just someone talking about the WoW token, just joking. But yeah, for the thing is like there are going to be a lot of people who are. I mean, you see it nowadays. I don't know if you watch like Adam Golden that every once in a while. Like he'll have an event or something like that, and people will log on and they'll like crash the server. So many people follow him, you know. So it's going to happen to a sense, but I think it's only going to be a couple servers. As long as you stay away from those servers and you don't want to be part of it, I don't think it's going to have like I think our server. Yeah, of course. There's going to be like we have our amazing community from our Discord, the Classic WoW.live community. But these are people that are not playing the game to so much play with us. They want to play with the community, with a good Classic WoW community. That's the kind of community that I fucking want to play with. People in this stream, people that are watching, people on the Discord, like they're here because they know this is a good community. This is a Classic WoW community, and they want to play with people that are like-minded, that share a lot of the same, things that they love about this game. When it might not be that with a lot of these big streamers, it might just be with these big streamers that, I'm gonna fuck with this guy or I'm gonna mess with this guy. That is, I think, where the problem lies.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see too, because if they say they're only going to have phasing in early areas, is it going to kick in if there's too many people, in world bosses and stuff like that? Like they said it wouldn't. So technically, it could maybe be like if they're true to their word. Like if there's too many of one faction, too many people in one spot, it could cause like server stability issues,
hmm
right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I know that the servers don't work the way they used to, but I mean, and I want to hear what you think about sharding too, Al. So like I'm in the camp of thinking that like if we get similar server sizes as we did in vanilla, then I think that there's really no need for sharding, in my opinion, right? I feel like if we have like between 3 to 4K or 5K, whatever, yeah, is it going to be a little bit of a bitch for some people in the beginning? But I mean, for me, that's part of it, right? Like, it's going to be a little bit of a struggle, but for a few levels, I just personally like I don't want. I think sharding is just very anti-vanilla in a lot of ways, right? I do understand, however, it might be something that they might need to do for whatever a couple days. I don't know. I personally wouldn't like to see it either way, but then I think about the other end of the spectrum, right? Like, so if the servers are really small, and then people are going to complain that, oh, well, we need cross-realm BGs, and so how do you feel about that? Like server sizes, sharding, cross-realm BGs, stuff like that.
I mean, you got three questions in there, but like sharding, no, like man, I don't want it at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if the first, week or month is a bloodbath,
Mm-hmm.
like a mob tagging, and
Fucking
like
A,
that's
dude.
something that I'll deal with because you get past that eventually, and
Exactly.
people spread out on their own. The fact that they're having it in, it's like okay, we'll deal with that only if it's minor extent. If it's not, like I don't know, man, riot.
I know, dude. I know, and like,
I will
yeah.
be incredibly upset.
Yeah.
And I don't know what we would be able to do as a community to get that change, but it's just totally not in the spirit of classic.
Yeah.
Even having it in the demo, playing in the demo was so jarring
It felt so
that
wrong to me. Yeah.
it felt so bad. You'd be dueling somebody, and then you'd walk over
Hmm?
some mysterious line, and all the people standing around you would just friggin' vanish,
Yep.
right? And it'd just be like, what the hell?
I know, man. And for people who maybe never experienced what it was like playing without sharding, like it really is very immersion breaking. For me and for I know a lot of people, like seeing people on your server and knowing that okay, this dude's farming over there. He might be there when I get back, and he's still there. Like that was assuring to me. That was I felt like I was in the world. Like I was playing my part. Having this a magical line where people disappear and nodes appear and shit like that. It feels very immersion breaking first of all, and it's just it's not what I remembered, and it's not what I loved about the game. I love that the world felt alive. You know what I mean? The world felt real. It felt like if I did something, I made an impact and I left an impact on that world. And then if I were to leave, that impact was, yeah, mobs respawn and nodes respawn, but even though I know, like, for 10 minutes or whatever, that dude's going to be dead. And then, but people, they have sharding and they're going to be there and these mobs are just going to appear and shit like that. It's just, in essence, it's very against a lot of the things that I loved about WoW. So, and I feel like we've definitely had a good impact on the classic WoW dev team when it comes to them, like talking to us and the whole thing about the change with the loot trading and things like that. So I don't think it's off the table. What do you think about that? Do you think it's something that could possibly
Sharding?
change? Yeah.
I mean, I definitely think so. I think they are gonna try to push that as far as possible because there is, from their side, there is big reasons why it's important for them to, right?
Mhm.
Because they feel that it's better for people to be able to play the game than it is to not be able to play the game, even if it's lessened.
Right.
And the reason for that is if there's too many people in an area, it can bring the server down and then nobody plays, right?
Right.
Then everybody's unhappy.
Yeah. Exactly.
But if they have it set up so that, hey, half the people disappear, at least you can play, like that's their argument for it.
Mhm.
And in Classic, I experienced that.
Yeah.
We often wouldn't be able to kill world bosses because there'd be too many people there and the
Yep.
server would crash. The server would go down, all the bosses would despawn, and then no one would get any bosses.
Right.
So I understand that, but at the same time, I think they should be able to control it with better hardware nowadays, better technology, and a proper server size cap.
Yeah. And and I think the cap is one thing. I think another thing would be like the issue. I think the fucking stream is lagging off and on, but I think we're back now. Another thing would be like I, I understand that a lot of people. I think Blizzard's main thing is like they don't want people to play for the first time and feel like I can't even fucking do anything and get pissed off and not want to play again. You know what I mean? I guess they're worried that the first impression is going to be a bad one if they don't do anything like that. But I tend to think that it's it's a double edged sword with a lot of things. I do, however, I'll get over the fact if it's sharding for the first fucking week, whatever, it's over, it never happens again. I'll get over it, I'm sure. But then, you know, it leads to me worrying about like, oh my god, what are they gonna fucking try to shard, the AQ event or something like this down the line, or I don't know, I in my core, and I know a lot of people are on the fence about it. A lot of people want sharding and leveling. I think Cargo's was even like kind of not so much against it for the leveling process at least. But I just when I think about it, like, and I just don't want it. You know what I mean? But I really think that if we get a good server size, like depending on if it's small enough, whatever, big enough. Another thing I'm worried about is I don't know if you're such a big PvPer and all, if you care about this as much, but I'm sure you do at some extent. Cross realm BGs versus single server realm BGs.
Yeah, I hate cross RMBGs. I think that was the beginning of the end, honestly,
Mm,
of server community. That was kind of like the first nail in the coffin. For us, I also PvP'd extensively in Classic.
okay, yeah,
Um, I ran with a pre-made. I ran actually with a guy in chat who's here. He can
Who,
vouch for
Viv?
me. Viv,
Hell
yeah.
yeah, Viv's the man, man. Hell yeah.
And
All right, see you,
that.
Melderon. Sorry, Melderon was leaving.
All right, good riddance. um, yeah, like basically, it added so much more when you're fighting against people who matter,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yep.
And there would always be arguments in the forums, shit talking in the world, just everywhere. Like, it mattered when you fought against people. Like, these were the guys who, like, ganked you on your way to your dungeon run last time, and now you're gonna like beat them down, right? Or, this is the guy who's like, the Chinese farmer hunter or whatever, and like, you want to beat him down too, right?
Yeah, right.
It's like it kind of gave you like kind of it had a certain level of like reputation mattered. I guess
Yeah.
it's as simple as that. As reputation mattered. So winning those war songs against other top teams or being able to beat someone, it just added so much like value that like goes beyond gameplay. And as soon as they took that out, where you're fighting people from random realms, it just turns it back into like you're just doing the objective PvP, and it doesn't have anything extra.
Yep, exactly, dude. So, I mean, it sounds like that's a big one for you too. It's a big thing for me. I really feel like everything you said. I want to be able to go into a battleground, see people that I know. It feels like, okay, I fought this person before. You get this feeling of like he's, your fucking person who killed you before. Like, I don't know. There's emotion gets behind it, and you care. It matters, and I love that. And I know, yes, server queues. I mean, the queues might be longer if we don't have it. They might be. You might run into more pre-mades, right? So there are pros and cons to both, but all in all, my thing is like I want it to feel authentic, classic for me. And for me, even though I played, it came in later vanilla. Most of my vanilla was on a single server BGs for PvP. That's what I was used to. That's what I love about it, and that's what I want. So your most before we, because I don't know if it's the Discord that's making me lag, but either way, I want to while you're here, I want to ask you like the main thing. What are some of the main things that you are either not so much worried about classic, but things that are still on the table that you're kind of worried about, like server size, sharding, PvP. Is there anything that you think like needs to be addressed, like more than anything that we need to focus on, or are you kind of happy where things are right now?
I think that we need confirmation on cross realm BGs,
Mm-hmm.
and then the second is that they need to kill it dead in the water. Uh, Microtransactions and the
Mm-hmm.
WoW token.
Yeah.
We need confirmation because I feel like the longer it goes without us getting that confirmation, you know, that has me nervous, right?
Yep.
I'm worried that the only reason that they're doing this is they're going to be able to sneak in all these microtransactions as well.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like the reason they had this approved is that they're like, okay, well, we'll be able to have this in, and you know, so that's really what I want. I would like some sort of confirmation on what exactly services they're going to have. I know at the end of Classic that I think you could transfer servers and like maybe even like faction swap and stuff. Um,
Yep. Well,
I
faction
would, I
swapping
would,
came late. Uh, faction swapping wasn't in. The only thing you could do right at the end of vanilla was server transfer, right? Yeah, I think.
so say, yeah, same thing.
Mm.
Like, I don't want their server transfer, okay, but like, for example, like name changing, that
No.
changes the whole dynamic.
Oh yeah.
Race changing, class changing, not class changing, obviously you can't do that,
Hmm.
but you know what I mean? It's just like, that's going to be that we those questions need to be answered
Yeah.
because they will totally change the dynamic and the feel of like having a really authentic classic experience.
Absolutely. Absolutely, brother. Well, I just want to let everybody know again, guys. Al has first of all been very influential when it comes to the classicwild.live website. So everything you see on there, you can basically thank Ale for. He is like the mastermind behind a lot of it, and you know, a lot of. I'm not saying that because everyone had their role to part, but Ale definitely was very integral in all that. So those of you guys who love the Classic Wild Live website, I want to link it again. So if you haven't checked it out yet, please go and
Yeah,
check it out. Yeah.
and like if you guys have any suggestions, man, like hit up Def Camp and Melderon.
Yes.
Let them know, and you know they'll get it to me, and then we can work on it. Like you said, this is a community site. We're building it. We're building it for us to use, for everybody to use. So if there's things you want to see, things that you feel like we should have, or if there's any issues or anything, let us know. We're hoping to make the best classic WoW only focus site that it can be.
Absolutely, brother. And you know what? So far, like everything has been so amazing on the site. Like I love the forums. Again, guys, like they're in general discussion if you wanted it to, and there's things about like, what would you like to see on the site? What features? This site is not just for content creators. It's not just for us. It's for everyone. You can upload your own things. It's all about, the community coming together and a place for us to feel at home. So thank you, Arrowleft. Thank you, everyone saying great website. Need a forum section? There is a forum section, Ditz. Here, I'll link you the forum section right now, just in case if you haven't seen it yet. So the forum section right here, if you see it, it's just, I'll link it right here. It's forums.classic. There you go. There's the link for the forum section.
Have you shown off the new Hunter artwork yet?
Oh, no. And the, let's see that. Hold on. Let's see. Oh my god, look at that. Oh wait, let me move my chat so people can see it. Let me move the chat, hold on. Oh, that's so fucking good, dude. That is so beautiful.
I mean, people hate night elves, but
of course it's a
like
female night elf, right? I fucking hate female night elf hunters so much, but that is beautiful. That is fucking beautiful.
But like the shaman one's cool too.
Yeah, the shaman one's really good. And
we have a guy. Yeah, we have a guy working with us. His name is Jensen, and he's a super talented artist. He's been doing all these graphics for us, and we met him through the community. He wanted to help out, so it's the same thing. Like, you want to put your stamp in here, then you're more than welcome to
just reach out. Yep. Between Jensen,
become a part of it.
Yeah, become a part of it is an integral part of it. You know what I mean? But between Jensen and Brand Doug and the work that they've done, and people already putting their own guides up, already putting their own pre-raid best in slot, like Exa put his up, Nish put one up. People that are just excited for Classic. It's a good way to keep the fucking hype going, my man. So thank you again, Al, for coming out tonight. I love to pick your brain more often, dude. So you've got a lot of fucking knowledge, and a lot of insight when it comes to Classic WoW, my man. So thank you for coming out, brother.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
No problem, brother. All right, say bye to Al, guys. Tell him you love him. Tell him to go get some Canadian maple syrupy.
Canadian bacon, man.
Canadian bacon,
about?
That's right.
It's past breakfast.
There was a movie called Canadian Bacon, right?
Oh yeah, John Candy.
John Candy. That's right. Yeah. All right, brother. I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you later, man.
All right, thanks for having me.
Yep, no problem.
See you guys.
See you, brother. All right, guys. Thank you for dealing with the lag and shit. I don't know if it's my internet again or what's going on. I think Melderon might have been downloading some porn again, so we'll have to tell him to stop doing that. But yeah, guys, like Ale, between Ale, like Taldril, Egregious, Navik, Cargos, Melderon, all the guys who are on the site, and it's just so cool, like meeting all these people and being put together with these people in this community has been so fucking awesome, guys. And like I knew that the community was amazing. I knew that like this community was by far the best. But then you start to meet people that don't blame me, Canada, for the those damn Canadians are friggin' making the lag. That's what it was, yeah. But it's really just amazing to meet people that share so much of the things that you love about this game, and just it's awesome, man. It's fucking awesome. We got a family going on, a real fucking family. So Robert asks, when are we moving? So that's a good question. So Robert, we got some good news on that, right? So because of the support with the stream and everything that you guys have been helping out so much, because of everyone helping and supporting the stream, and Melderon just got a new job that he's going to be starting. We're going to be moving out probably within the next month or 2 months. So definitely within probably a month or so, we're going to be we're looking for a place now. We're looking for a place around here so that Melderon's actually going to be working down in the city, and we're looking for a place that is going to be, relatively close for us, that has, and our main goal is to fucking get a hard line, get great internet, so we don't have to worry about fucking lag or anything like that, because, dudes, I am so sick. I am so sick of the fucking, like, if I had one complaint, of the stream, it's the internet shit that's been going on. To me, it bothers the hell out of me, guys, and I'm sorry, I'm fucking sorry, blame Canada, but I can't wait, boys. So, like, here's the thing, the plan is, I do work part-time right now, but the plan is for me to hopefully, make this more and more of my main job, streaming and the channel and all that kind of stuff. Make this more of my main job. Make that more of a part-time thing that I do here and there. Whether I'm volunteering for it, either way, I just want to be doing something with that because it is a passion of mine. But I really want to just move forward, get this, and make this the burbs. Yeah, absolutely, brother. Make this my main goal, guys, because I love this fucking community. I love hanging out with you guys. I love the stream. I cannot wait to actually stream Classic WoW. You have no idea how fucking excited I am for that. Oh my god, Izzy Omega, what thoughts? What the fuck thought the stream ended? Betrayal? No, Izzy, we're still here. We're still here, man. I don't know what was going on again. It was just issues with the fucking stream gods. Again, the stream gods were not smiling upon me today, but we're here, brothers. We're still here. It's going to be good. The Benzo, it's going to be fucking epic, my man. It's going to be great, boys. Like, all the things that have come into fruition right now, the website, all these blue posts, all this great news coming, I really feel like things are really fucking good, guys. Like, things could be a lot worse. When people say, things aren't going, like, I really feel like things are really going really good in the whole terms of where we're going as a community. We're going home, boys. We're coming back home. We're going to Azeroth, my man. Look at the whole big picture, right? I try to always look at the big picture. Look at the cup half full, not half empty. Are things 100% perfect? Of course not. You know what I mean? But when you look at the whole big picture, we have Classic WoW developers who care about this game, who know that the authenticity is what matters, who listen to the community, who have been working with the community, and I really feel like in a couple months' time, we're going to be fucking playing and enjoying some Classic WoW, boys. So, I am so excited for that. What's your thoughts on when the release date may be? Like, this is what I think, my man. I think release date is either going to be July or August, right? I know it's like a long window, right? But so someone had mentioned this to me. They said that when they introduced or when they mentioned Legion, they initially said summer of whatever year it was, right? And it ended up coming out in like August. So even though they said a classic summer, they did kind of say the same thing about Legion, right? So I'm expecting the earliest to be like mid-July, late July, the latest to be late August, okay? So I'm hoping that it would be any time between, like July and August. And, I know August would be devastating. August for me would not be that great as well. I would really like July 16th, I know. I really like that fucking date. And I would love to plan a 2-week vacation around that. Though I don't have to go to work. I really want to hit, and look, boys, here's the thing, man. I love leveling in WoW. I love enjoying the leveling process. I don't want to rush myself. However, I do want to get ahead of the pack a little bit. I do want to do dungeons. Cargos, he likes to speed level. That's like he enjoys that. He loves doing that. Me, I like doing dungeons. I like exploring. I like, doing shit that I never done before, finding things that I never found before, trying to farm for fucking money, gold, this kind of shit. I like to take my time, but I also like to play a lot, right? So my thing is, if I can play, like nonstop for 2 weeks straight, I completely plan to hit level 60 in 2 weeks. So that is my plan. I want it to drop tomorrow. Oh man, I don't know. I wouldn't be ready for tomorrow. Honestly, I am not prepared for tomorrow because so tomorrow is Saturday. Yeah, I would have off tomorrow and Sunday, but then I have to go back to work. I want to be able to take off for work for like 2 weeks, dude. So VX Cosmos says the WoW Classic community is something we won't see again for a lifetime. So let's make the best of it. Last time I had a similar was back in 2001 in Dark Age of Camelot. VX Cosmos, hell yeah, my dude. Dude, guys, we have a Dev Talk coming up soon. Very soon. Very, 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 very soon. With the one and only VX. And I don't know why I said it like that. But yeah, if you guys haven't noticed, like, back in the day, I mean, back in a lot of the streams and a lot of what we've talked about, VX Cosmos has really always had a really good outlook on things, and I'm just really excited to have that with him, that Dev Talk. So that's going to be coming up soon, VX Cosmos. I can't wait for that. We're going to be doing that on Sunday, and hopefully we'll have it out by next week. I know we haven't had a Dev Talk in a while because of everything with the website and all, so that's going to be coming really soon. But I can't wait for that, and got my holidays in July, so yeah, August would suck. Yeah, I know, man. P Worth says it's going to be August 20th. Wish it was July though. So P F Worth says he thinks it's going to be August 20th. That seems like it could definitely be that. Who knows? For me, the perfect day would be May 4th. That's tomorrow, right? Oh, that's a good one, Norse Bannon. I was like, wait a minute, that's like soon. I may take some time off when it drops. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people can't, a lot of people can. I hope I can. I hope my boss says yes. I mean, I've done plenty enough for that place to where I think they kind of would let me hopefully do that. Okay. Pontus Bjork asks, can you clarify what version of AV we will get? Is it the rush version, or do we have objectives left, like summon, the elemental, etc.? So Pontus, yes, it is basically the rush version, the 1.12 version that is known to be the rush version. However, you still can do a lot of some of the things, a lot of the major, things like you said, the summoning, and I'm pretty sure the night elf heads and all that, all the human bone chip, that kind of stuff will not be in there as well. So it's basically the rush version, the 1.12 version. A lot of people were upset about that. I personally, I'm kind of indifferent to it because I do love AV. It is my least favorite BG out of the three for vanilla, but I do enjoy it. I would have liked to seen the AV that we have had on private servers, but they went ahead with the 1.12 AV. And you know what? It has its pros and cons. To me, more cons than pros, but it's not a huge thing to me where it's going to really have that big effect for me. I think the reasons why they gave behind it, the blue post that was on it, if you wanted to read the blue post on it, they gave some reasoning, good reasoning behind it, like as they did with the 1.12 itemization thing, as saying how, well, the 1.12 talents makes sense to have the 1.12 itemization, things like that. I think it's overall not that big of a deal for me. Now, for someone else, it could be a huge deal. For someone else who loves the pre versions of Alterac Valley, I know a lot of people who want it to be changed ASAP. So, but luckily for me, it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, so it is basically the rush version. Viv says, I can't even take time off. I'm in college and then subject to the predefined break periods. I'm pretty positive it's going to drop during classes because I'm out on break right now. Oh, man. That's rough, Viv. That is rough, brother. Well, listen, man. Here's the thing, right? you know, for a lot of people, when they were playing Classic and all that, they were in school, they were doing this, they were doing that. You know, are you going to be able to play as much as some people in the beginning? Maybe not. But looking at the whole overarch of Classic WoW, you're still going to be able to enjoy it, brother. You know, maybe you can maybe it'll come off on a weekend where you can play it over the weekend or something like that and enjoy it for a few days and then have to do what you have to do for a little bit. But the main part is like, we all have our lives, you know, even though I'm going to try and make streaming one of my main sources of, you know, income and livelihood, I still have other responsibilities. I still have another job that I work. I still have other things that I have to do. I'm not going to be able to play every waking moment, even though I would like to. But you know, I can at least I can still be here with you guys and stream and talk to you guys and do that. So I can play and stream at the same time, do two of the things that I love doing the most in the world with you guys. So I'm really excited for that. Yeah, so Araleth is a good point. He says, I mean, Avil will still have loads of people going in for just the quests, so it won't be as fast as retail. It's a great point, Araleth. And, you know, people are going to be doing the quests. People are going to try and be ranking, getting their, you know, reputation up with AV so that they can get the great rewards and things like that. A lot of people are going to be doing it, but I do think that most of the games are going to be quicker than we are used to, at least on private servers and older games. Most people will rush, but turtles will still happen. You know, things will still be, you know, slower once in a while, but for the most part, we will probably see a faster version of it. When was original launch? So Patty McDude, the original launch was November 23rd, 2004, which was my birthday. The day, not the year. I wasn't born. I was born on the same day that WoW came out, not the same year. You know, so I'm 30 years old, but my birthday came out the day that WoW did. So WoW and I share a birthday. How fucking cool is that, dude? And yeah, so hopefully they don't wait till then. Hopefully they don't fucking wait till November. My original thought is like they're gonna wait till their 15th anniversary, which would have been that day. But I'm glad that they said summer and not that. Wife equals divorce eye patch. Oh, kids social. Oh god, you guys are fucking great, man. You guys are great. I can't wait to make a dwarf rogue with engineering. Going to be ganking Blackrock all day. Side, you're gonna gank. I love dwarf rogues. Honestly, my dwarf rogue, I have one on another Voldemort server. Dwarf rogue with engineering, a lot of fun. Make sure you go ahead and gank Cargos whenever you can. All right, brother. Bottles equals ready to piss in. Oh my god, you guys! It will be changed slightly just to balance. Yeah, absolutely. That's really sad to hear. He was one of my best experiences I've had from vanilla. Yeah, Pontus. If you heard the Countdown to Classic episode with Josh and all of them, there was a lot of people who were really sad about that because of how much they love the AV, and I feel for a lot of those people because, you know, I myself, when I look at a lot of the early WoW days, you know, vanilla days, like I said, I didn't start playing until like patch 1.7 or so. Pretty sure it was. I remember I started playing when the Encourage event was going on. People were getting the materials for Encourage. I remember the event happening. I remember it coming out. I hit 60 on my rogue a little bit after AQ had been out for a while, and then I made my priest when the Nax event was going on and all that kind of stuff. But I didn't get him to level cap until the very end of vanilla. But on my rogue, he was my first character. You know, I experienced a lot of the later vanilla. You know, I didn't experience a lot of the early days, even though it was pre-patch 1.12. Obviously, I did experience a little bit of the old AV. That's actually my main experience, was the old AV that I remember. I personally loved doing a lot of those things, those cool things. You know, where you turn in all these items and, you know, all the. I really like turtling and having these defenses, having these games that were hours upon hours long. And being a rogue, going and back capping, going in the rogue group and doing the back caps and stuff like that was fun. However, you know, to me, it wasn't as big as a thing as other things were for me. Like, you know, I much more enjoy doing, you know, AV and WSG and World PvP. Had a lot of fun doing World PvP on my rogue. You know, but for other people who loved AV when it came out, They loved that version of AV, and I think, it's gonna be hard for some people, but I don't think, hopefully it won't be that bad for you. I hope, brother. I hope you still enjoy the game, my man. I really do. At least change Horde Towers so you can sneak easy. Good evening, Ryan. How you doing, my friend? Great to see you here, brother. Great to see you here. But the closest of Alliance graveyards to choke points is unfair as fuck. Yeah, absolutely, my man. Just so you guys know, even though we had gotten an earlier AV, you still wouldn't get those crazy battles. You still wouldn't get those crazy battles as we had it in early vanilla. We didn't know how to play back then. Still hoping for some RP PvP server news. Yeah, so Araleth, I doubt they won't have at least one considering the feedback. Araleth, great point, my man. This is something I've been talking about, and I really feel like since they talked about this on that, what was it? It was a fucking BFA panel that Ion brought it up, right? Since they brought it up, people have been talking about it, and the words that he said were pretty much this. He said, we'll come back and think about it, and, if there's enough want and enough feedback about this. And I would say there's definitely been enough feedback to prove that RP PvP servers is something that people want. And I think there should be at least one RP PvP server per realm, not fucking realm, per region. That's what I'm trying to fucking say. Per region, per like US, per fucking region. God damn it, I'm retarded. That's what I'm trying to say. And I think that there's enough want and need for that. I really do. And I hope they consider that, because honestly, I would love to try playing on an RP PvP server in vanilla and just get the feel for it, see how it is, man. I think I really would enjoy it. So Araleth, I'm right there with you, brother. I hope that is something that we get. I hope we get some clarification on that. We get some news about that soon. Like I said, just one for each region, man. That's it. Just one. I think there's plenty enough people to play on that. Hey, bud, Peter, how you doing, my man? Hi, dude. The most important question is Alliance or Horde? Well, I think I'm just going to toss a coin. Best of 5. Tadas. The answer is Horde all the way, brother. All the way. My first character was a Night Elf, but I was sorely mistaken. I was wrong. I have changed a lot since then. I will be playing an undead priest named Death Camp. He will be fucking leveling Shadow. Going holy when I hit 60, I'll be PvPing as Shadow as well. And hopefully getting up to rank 10. Then my alt will be a Tarn Shaman. Yes, Tarn. I love me some War Stomp, my man. So, yeah, guys. I will also, though, I will have an Alliance alt that I will be playing with Dunedain over on the EU server, because I want to play with one of my buds, Dunedain, and I will be playing a Paladin with him. But Loktar Ogar. Why am I not drinking? Oh, my Snapple's empty, damn it. Oh, it's warm. Alright, my dream is BC classes in the classic game. Interesting, Ken. So Ike says, in my last year of university, will definitely be a casual player. Still hyped as fuck for it, though. Hell yeah, brother. That's the thing, my man. Classic WoW really is, we talked about this earlier in the stream, guys, it really is a casual friendly game. Whether you want to level, do dungeons with friends, there's 3 main things in vanilla WoW, and one is leveling, one is PvE, and one is PvP. You can enjoy each one of those things at your own leisure. A lot of the raids are still relevant when the other raids are out. You don't have to rush if you don't want to. You can spend as much time leveling, making new alts, making new characters, and it's still fun. You're still progressing your character. You're still immersed in your character. You're still really fucking having fun, and you're feeling rewarded, which is amazing. And I said this earlier, and I really do believe this, that Classic WoW is potentially one of the most casual, friendly versions of the game in that respect, because you do feel rewarded in the leveling process, and I fucking love that, boys. So BC classes more enjoyable for everyone, agree? Here's it. Some classes I do like in BC better, it's a hard one, right? Because I fucking love BC. Like, BC Priest is my heart. Like, I love Prayer of Mending and Circle of Healing and Disc and PvP and the Reflective Shield and all these amazing things. And, you know, I have so many fond memories of the Burning Crusade. But, you know, there were some classes that I thought were really cool back in vanilla as well. Like, you know, and the most part, it does feel like they were just a little bit added to most of the classes, and they just kind of got a little bit better. I do, however, don't like how they added the internal timer to like Wind Fury procs. I wish they would have kept it the way it was. I feel like enhancement shamans maybe were a little bit better in vanilla. I'm not really a huge someone who can really talk on that too much because I really haven't had much experience with an enhancement shaman in the Burning Crusade. So, yeah. He's a baby. Who's a baby? Me? I'm 30. If that's a baby, then I'll take it. My birthday came out when WoW did. Joshua, so did mine, Joshua. So does that mean we have the same birthday, my man? WoW dropping on the birthday makes you a legendary item, does it not? Yes, absolutely, Raccoons, it does, my man. Horde, yes, Izzy, absolutely. Haven't decided on PvP or PvE realm yet. Don't know if I can stand the ganking and slower pace of leveling in PvP now that I don't have the same time anymore. Pontus, that is absolutely understandable, my man. You can still enjoy the game in your own fashion, in your own way on a PvE server. You know, and if you don't have the time for that aspect of the game, that's completely understandable, my dude. You know, everyone has their own things. Everyone has their own loves, and you know, some people love PvE versions. Some people love to play on a PV on a RP PvE realm, or maybe you'll have more fun in a RP PvP realm. You never know, brother. So I wish you the best of luck, my man. Though I definitely do. He was born with the same mustache. Random fact. Yes, that is actually the Snapple fact that I have today. Def Camp was born with the same mustache. There you go. It just went away. PvE for me, says Tyler T. Respect that, my dude. Are you going to join the hunger strike for Classic WoW release? Silent E, I don't know if I can join a hunger strike for more than 2 hours, my dude. If you see the size of me, it's not something. Listen, okay. It's for a good cause. What I'll do this. I'll drink only. I only have 6 Snapples a day, okay? I'll limit my Snapples to only 6 Snapples a day for the next 2 days. That's what I'll do. Boom. I'm doing my part, boys. Is your alarm clock also your router? Yes, it is. Absolutely, my alarm clock is my router. Definitely RP here, probably PvE if there is an option. Don't think my heart could cope with PvP and STV nowadays, Matthew. I understand that, my dude. And listen, guys, you know, I have respect for all you guys here, but personally for me, and this is just my experience and my love, I love the feeling of not knowing if I turn this corner or go around here, someone can take my life or not. And I love the feeling of, like, you know, getting killed by someone and then coming back and killing them, and these little wars that ensue. And yes, can it become kind of annoying after a while when you've been getting ganked, you know, 4 or 5 times in a row, and now your res time is 2 minutes long? And yeah, but for me, like, the benefits of it is it outweighs the cons. You know what I mean? So absolutely, my dudes. By the way, guys, before I forget, make sure you guys, if you're interested in anything about, you know, all the stuff, check the description over on the YouTube and on the Twitch. I have these, like, little boxes that I had set. So if you're looking for, like, the site, info on Twitch, info on the WoW streams playlist, the Patreon page, the Discord, and all that kind of good stuff, the Streamlabs, all that information's in the description. Before I forget, I always forget that shit. So I like to link a lot of the stuff in the chat once in a while, but now I put everything there in the description. So if you guys check the description, you can see, boom, bada bing, bada bam, it's all there. World PvP is my big fucking hype. Izzy, I know, man. I can't wait for Phase 2, brother. People, like, guys, I can't wait until DM drops and World PvP, you know, the PvP drops as well. It's going to be Beautiful, dude. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. VX Cosmos says the U.S. got the game November 23rd, 2004, but we in the EU got it 11th of February, 2005. Wow, man. That sucks, dude. That is rushed. That is rough, man. That, you know what? I didn't get it until after that. So honestly, what am I saying? I didn't get it till way after that. Until, I'm trying to think when exactly, what year that was. Whatever when patch 1.7 was. What's the next blue post gonna be about? Hour left. All right, let's think about this, boys. Vomp with the fucking Snapples. Hell yeah, brother. What is the next blue post gonna be about? Okay. I'm hoping. I am really hoping that it's gonna be some kind of server information, either server sizes, right? Cross server, single server BGs, or something on a sharding, something like that. Possibly, maybe a release date. Who knows, boys? Honestly, I think it might have. I've been saying this for a while, so it might be another small one like we had yesterday. So again, guys, if you weren't aware, yesterday a small blue post did come out. A small blue post did come out. Let me rephrase. Let me say it again. We did get a blue post yesterday. A small blue post did come out. Okay, we did get a blue post. Even though, yes, it was only on the verification of how many players you could have on each server, which is 10, you know, and that on a PvP server, you cannot have Alliance and Horde. And I hope that means you also cannot talk to Alliance or Horde on a PvP server if you're one or the other, respectively. So, yeah, good news. Overall, good news, boys. It's a reason to be hyped. It's a reason to go looking forward into the weekend positively, good. You know, we're going to be streaming again tomorrow. You know, we're going to have a fun day tomorrow. On Saturday, we're going to be maybe streaming. Probably not on Sunday, but we'll see. Who knows? I really want to play Dwarf, but I'm going to main a Warlock, the Benzo. So does that mean you're going to play a Gnome, the Benzo? What does that mean? Are you going to go Human, or are you going to go Gnome? Don't Gnome. Don't Gnome. Vomp with the Snapples, brother. Hell yeah. Hello, I'm wondering, Undead or Troll us Esprits PvP. Reading some interesting Reddit posts about that. Overall, I start to think Troll is better. So here's the thing, Gamork. Troll is very good, so Hex of Weakness is really good, really nice. What you can do with it, and honestly, Shadow, Shadow Shield. So the Shadow Shield that you have can block Black Blackout, can J on Blackout. It can proc Blackout, right? Yes. But as an undead, I personally prefer undead in PvP. Why? Right? Let me tell you why. Number one, Will the Forsaken. Okay, when you're playing a Warlock or you're playing anyone else, having that Will of Forsaken to get out of charm, fears, and sleeps is fucking amazing. Okay, it's great. It's amazing. It's just huge. Okay, Berserking can be nice, but not that great. Okay, now Blackout can also be procced as an undead with Touch of Weakness, right? So Trolls have Hex of Weakness. They put it on the target. It's like a curse, or I think, yeah. So, but as a undead, it's a buff you put on yourself, and when someone hits you, it does a small amount of damage and reduces their target, their melee attack damage by a small amount. But the damage that it does, just like the Shadow Shield, it can proc Blackout as well. So keep that in mind. You can use that to proc Blackout on a melee. Another thing about, undead that a lot of people like to, say, oh, it's not that good, but in my opinion, it's amazing, is Devouring Plague. Now listen to me for a second with Devouring Plague. Yes, I know that dwarfs can get out with stone form, and I know it's a disease that can be removed by a lot of classes, right? But the way I look at it is this. As a Shadow Priest, I do use Inner Focus sometimes with Mind Blast, but for the most part, every time I use my Inner Focus, I pair it up with Devouring Plague. They're both 3-minute cooldowns, and Devouring Plague uses a lot of mana, but essentially with Inner Focus, it's free. Not only does Devouring Plague do a decent amount of damage, but remember it heals you as well. So if you're fighting a rogue, say a human rogue or a human or a night elf rogue or a night elf hunter, and you put on your Devouring Plague, your Shadow Word Pain, and your Vampiric Embrace, you're getting a ton of healing back while doing a lot of damage without even doing anything, just for having 2 dots in there. It's a huge cooldown, in my opinion. Huge. Personally, I prefer the playstyle of Priest. Although Troll is fun, I will admit Troll is pretty fun. Especially to reduce the healing, things like that, with that little bit that you have from Hex Weakness. It's nice. It's very nice. But, in my opinion, I prefer Undead. But I would say this, dude. Go with your playstyle. What do you prefer? Do you prefer to have more chances to proc Blackout if someone's hitting you? But remember, you can still get that with Undead. Go with your gut, my man. Go with what you like better, lore-wise. What do you like? What do you think looks better? What do you think feels better for you? Because priests are very unique in that, every race of priests does something a little bit different. Alliance and Horde, you have Fear Ward, you have, Desperate Prayer on the Alliance, things like that. But for the most part, my man, do what you feels right, okay? I had to come to that conclusion when it came to the Shaman. I wasn't sure if I was going to do Orc or Tarn. I fell in love with Tarn because I love the play style of War Stomp. I love the War Stomp Lesser Healing Wave, War Stomp Chain Lightning, War Stomp, whatever. It's amazing to have that War Stomp. Even though it's really nice to have that increased resistance to stun, I love the War Stomp play. So go with that, my man. Do what you like best. Either way, Shadow Priest is an amazing 1v1 class. I was having some really fun duels with Cargos on his Warlock. They're just so good 1v1, brother. So either way, man, I think you're making the right choice. Where's the alarm clock? Apollo 182. It is over there. It is working correctly. It is not blinking. It is working, my dude. I fixed it for you guys. Al always gives me shit for it, so thank you again. Thank you for subscribing, Chongo19. So, like Esfan, you shined less being great in your chosen role. Shined less being great in your chosen role. I think I understand that. Priest 6 armor was the absolute god tier, no question. Hell yeah, brother. The Shaman in the house. What's going on, my dude? The Shaman we need to represent. There you go. Snick Snapples. Hell yeah, dudes. Mad Season dropped a new patch history video. Oh, I love Mad Season's videos, man. They're so fucking good. I cannot wait to hop into a PvP server with everybody being fresh. Hell yeah, my dude. Pontus Bjork says, my biggest worry now is to choose a server. I don't want to end up on a dead realm down the road. Guess there will be lots of community forums when we get closer to launch. Yes, guys, remember, forums here on the website as well, ClassicWoW.live. Don't forget to check the forums out there. And also the links, like I said, in the description and on the Twitch page as well. Vomp, you cheeky, breaking the rules. What did you do, Vomp? What? I used to buy games here in the U.S. and ship them to Germany, so one of my friends could play with us after launch. Oh my god, that's great, dude. That's fucking great. Oh my god. So, so you think release date? Summer in Italy is basically in a month. Shorts weather, 90 degrees, dude. Nork span, and here's the thing, man. So my family's all Italian, bro, and like, half my family's Sicilian, half my family is Sicilian, half my family is from Naples. So I've been wanting to go to Italy for so long, my dude, and like, whew, man, I would love to be able to go this summer or something like that. But hopefully one day I'll be able to go and visit the, where my whole family has come from. You like being crushed by Pally? I have never been crushed by a Pally. Never. Okay? Never. I dispel all their buffs, dispel their bop, I dispel them, I silence them when they think they're going to heal, I fear them, they run away. Yeah, maybe they can dispel my dot, right? But I don't even need it, because you know what I do? I drain their fucking mana. I mana burn the shit out of them. I mind control them off of ledges. I destroy them. They cower in fear of the Shadow Priest. Paladins ain't got shit on me, bruh. Thanks for the info. No problem. Good work, brother. Hey, man. No problem, brother. Like I said, brother, go with what you love, my man. Go with what you feel most connected to. The pointy end goes into the other man. Yes. Sticking with the pointy end. Remember. What do we say to death? Not today. Viv says, when you asked Al if he was into PvP at all, I chuckled because we ranked together in pre-mades and vanilla to rank 13. Yeah, Viv, I don't know why for some reason I thought, for like a split second, I totally forgot that Al was like that hardcore in PvP. For some reason, I thought like while we were talking, it just like I assumed that because he was so hard into PvE that he didn't even have time to PvP. But I've had conversations with him before about ranking, so I don't know why I asked like that. I was like, oh wait, no, I know for a fact that you've, dude. So you guys went to rank 13. God damn, how long did that take, Viv? And what was that like? Oh my God, Viv, we gotta have a death talk with you, my man. Soon, like, we got VX Cosmos coming soon. I can't wait. I want to have one with you, Viv. We got a bunch lined up. We got so many amazing, people that we could have on the show. So many of you guys have so many awesome stories and so much awesome insight to this game. I wish we could just fucking interview all of yous. Your voice sounds exactly like my friend that is also Sicilian. Really? That's interesting. That's really interesting. We're from Boston though. That's okay. So I'm originally from South Philly, so that's why I do have a little bit of that. I said things like water, not water. We say water. Talking about undead. Oh yeah, brother. I'm from Texas. I play on a horse. I'm from Texas and I play on a horse. My name's Izzy. How y'all doing? I love you, Izzy. Dude, I got some friends from Texas, man. I've never been to Texas. I've only been to, I've been all up and down the east coast of the U.S. I've been out to California. I've never been outside of the United States, my man. And I really want to go. I really want to travel. Melderon has. He's been to Germany. He's been all over Europe. And but I myself, like, we're guys. So we're still planning on going to. Let me talk about BlizzCon for a sec, right? We're still planning on going to BlizzCon 100%. But we are looking into what kind of tickets to get. We want to see. I don't know if we're like. What do you guys think? Like, how big do you have to be to try to get a press pass? Like, is that something you think we could try to? I don't even know, man. I have no idea. I don't know. I have an idea of who we could reach out to maybe about that, but like, I was thinking, if we could try to get a press pass, because I don't know. I mean, yeah, I've never been to. I mean, listen, I know we're not like huge, got 10,000 subscribers, right? Not that big of a deal, but I don't know, man. I think it would be cool. I want to just, what's the harm in trying, right? That's what my mom always told me. What's the harm in trying? You might as well try, see what happens. If they say yes, they say yes. If they say no, they say no. When is BlizzCon? They announced it just recently. It's November. It's in like November of this year coming up. So I forget exactly what the date was. Okay, so Viv answered my question. So listen to this, guys. I asked him what it was like to get to rank 13. So this is what Viv says. He says, it was grueling for sure, but I remember hitting rank 13 before ZG came out. Holy shit, man. I was the second rank 13 Alliance Mage on the server, beaten by a week by another dude. Holy shit, that is fucking awesome. Viv, that is fucking amazing, my dude. A Madak 219, the only news that we have is a blue post from yesterday. It was a minor blue post that just said that, the amount of characters on each realm, the max is 10. The max per region will be 50 across servers, and that if you are, say, for example, a Horde player on a PvP server, you will not also be able to have Alliance on that same PvP server. So limit one faction on PvP servers. Very small blue post, but it is a blue post. It's hype. It's good to go, boys. We're still moving forward. That's so cool. South Texas here. The answer is always no unless you ask. Yeah, that's exactly Apollo. That's exactly what, so Josh from Calvin Klein got a press pass for BlizzCon, and he wasn't that huge on the pod. Yeah, so, I mean, Viv, like, I think, like, we're just gonna ask, you know what I mean? And I think I'll ask Josh. We all plan on like possibly going together, meeting up there. It's gonna be fucking great, you know, going with Cargos like Josh. Josh is such an amazing guy. I know you guys, a lot of you guys, listen to Josh from Compton Classic. He has been, I mean, Josh has given Meldron and I so much. Just like, he's such a wise dude. Like he really is, and he's given us so much help with a lot of things that, you know, that's been the most amazing thing about like doing this website, is collaborating with other content creators and becoming friends with them, right? And, you know, I can't tell you how many times, you know, Josh, he asked me to fucking interview Martin from Tales of the Past. Like, that was amazing. Like, that was a dream come true for me. And that only happened because of, you know, the collaboration that we did. And it's so fucking cool, man. I love it. I love it. Any news on release date? No, nothing yet, my man. Nothing yet. Well, guys, it looks like my internet's being really shitty today. Oh, wait, it looks better now. Okay, looks better now. But, you know, I had a really interesting time today. I loved talking to Ale. It was a lot of fun. Had the chat with Ale. You know, I like I said, guys, I'm going to be streaming again tomorrow. We're going to be talking more Classic WoW. We're going to have some more stuff. Joseph Short, how you doing, my brother? I'm kind of disappointed. What are they doing? Taking rather long amount of time. Finish up a game made ages ago. Maddock, yeah, I know, man. It's like this, Maddock. I think the reason why it's just taking so long is because there's two things, right? You know, first of all, I think they want to make sure that they release it in a time that it's not going to be too hard on like the retail community. So they want it to be kind of in a deadish time for retail, right? Also, I feel like they have a limited amount of people working on the project. That's why it's taking the time that it is, right? They don't want to have hire too many people to pay them to do this. So I wouldn't blame the Classic WoW development team. I would blame, you know, Blizzard and Activision for it taking longer, for them putting it on the back burner and not realizing just how fucking amazing this is going to be, right? Because I think for Blizzard, man, Classic is going to fucking very much outshine retail WoW, my dudes. Very much. Very, very much. It's like Russian roulette. Let's see. The biggest problem I have is not choosing a future dead server on day one. Yeah, Proet. Here's the thing, right? I think if they do that, we're probably going to... Izzy, I do this all the time. I say I'm about to leave, and then I end up talking for like another 10 minutes. So don't leave, guys, until I actually end the stream, because you guys know I do this all the time. I'd be like, all right, guys, it was a good stream, and then I start fucking talking for another half hour. So let's just wait until I'm done, because you never know. The biggest problem I have is not... Yeah, so I think, honestly, what might happen, Pro, with something like that is if a lot of these servers end up being smaller and not that big, they probably will merge some of them. But I don't know, man. I know I'm right there with you. But listen, Pro, if we join together, I don't know if you're EU, I forget if you're EU or not, but you know, hopefully, if our community comes together and plays on the same server, we will have a healthy server size. But my one worry is I hope we don't have too much of an influence to the point where it's really like too horde heavy or not enough alliance on the server. So that's one thing we got to start looking at. Someone mentioned that we should start looking for alliance people to play on the server, people that really want to kill Cargos, you know. So we'll start looking for that. I might make a forum post about that for all the gnome rogues who want to kill Cargos. You know, sign up here. I think I might do that. They will merge, no doubt. Yeah. Hey, brother. Good night. Hope you get the press pass. Thank you, my man. Thank you, Souls. Yeah, guys. So I'll definitely keep you updated with that. Right. I'm gonna try. Talking to Melderon about it last night, we said, like, you know, what's the harm in trying? Let's see if it happens. If they don't get back to us, they don't get back to us. If we get it, that would be fucking awesome. But 100%, guys, plan on going to BlizzCon this year. 100%, you know, plan on streaming. Like, you guys have seen it, right? I went from streaming not at all to streaming 5-6 days a week, right? So, and that's going to keep coming. And as WoW gets closer and closer, the streams will be longer, they'll be better, we'll be actually playing the game together. Like, I cannot wait. You guys have been already so supportive and so, like, I can't even explain how welcomed I feel and how at home I feel when talking to you guys and how supportive it feels. Not only on the streams, on the Discord, on the videos, everywhere. You guys have been just so, like, supportive to Maldoron and myself, and can't thank you guys enough for that, because that's the real shit, my man. That's the real shit. That's the shit that makes me want to keep doing this every day. That's the stuff that makes me want to log on and talk with you guys and chat here for like 3-4 hours. That's what makes me want to do it. I mean, yeah. Listen, I'm not gonna sit here and say like it hasn't been nice to be able to, actually make enough to be able to move out because of this. But when it comes down to it, I'm not gonna sit here and do that unless I feel comfortable, right? And you guys have made me feel like so comfortable doing this that it feels like I don't have to put on a fucking air of like who I am. I'm just being here, being myself for the fucking horde, talking to you dudes. I love it, my man. What will your alt character be? So Madak, 100% brother. I'm going shaman for my alt, man. I'm doing it, dude. I definitely have decided I'm going shaman. I'm gonna probably go like 1 to 40 as enhancement, and then maybe go Ellie at 40. We'll see. But definitely gonna go Resto and Ellie at endgame. I love healing in vanilla WoW. I want to have multiple healing classes, but I also want to have some DPS classes as well. And I feel like the Shaman is a class that I can melee if I want to, I can ranged if I want to, I can heal if I want to, I can even tank if I fucking want to a little bit here and there. And I really feel like for me, that is the perfect alt. I've really grown to fall in love with Shamans. I also, like you guys know, rogues were my first love, my first class I ever played. I love rogues as well. I do. But for me, it's going to go priest, shaman, then I might have a druid as well somewhere that I'm messing around with. Then I'm going to play with Dunedain over on that Alliance server on EU, and have the paladin. Then I'll probably have another character EU that I'll probably be a rogue. So like I said before, like I'll say this again, you guys who have been so supportive over on the EU, we are not going to forget about you come Classic. We're going to roll on an EU server as well. So Melder and I will have a US server account and an EU account. I will have an Alliance character and a Horde character over on EU, and I will be playing with you guys over there as well. It might not be, it might not be every day. It might be a few times a week, but I will be there. I will play with you guys. I will fucking have fun. We'll be in the Discord bullshitting, talking, and you 100% can expect to see Melderon and I over there on the EU realms as well. 100%. Okay? Because it's been amazing how many of you guys from the EU have been here from us for so long. And I will never forget that shit. So you best believe I'll be there with you guys. That pause is the perfect moment for me. Did anyone ever get a Visa WoW credit card? Yes, Arleth, my brother had one. Melderon used to have one. Okay, I read that. I have mixed feelings about ganking cargoes. I would love to do it, but I don't want to pay for a second account. Yeah, Apollo, here's the thing, man. People are gonna get. He's buried himself pretty deep, man. I mean, I don't know. I think it'll be funny. It'll be funny. Some people are gonna gank, but for the most part, people. How can you not love Cargos? That face that he has, that little smile. He's such a cute guy, isn't he? Oh, I love him, dude. I love Cargos like a brother, man. I mean, that's the thing. Like so many of these guys that I've met, they feel like brothers, my man. It's so cool. I was EU and I'm going Horde, so that's probably Def Camp. That's a problem, Def Camp. I was EU and I'm going. No, it's not Pro. So I will have a EU Horde as well. I will. I promise I will. I'll probably have a rogue over there. Ren says for the Horde. Hell yeah, Ren. People who are okay with progressive itemization should see the picture where they compare the items progression. Yeah, I think we did something like that not that long ago. But the thing is, too, how many items. You got to talk about how many items for certain classes are items that are progressive from the 1.12 changes or aren't, right? So for a lot of classes, there's only maybe 2 or 3 items. For some, there's 4 or 5. So it depends for each class as well. Although I will make a glorious gnome warlock all pro Jesus, man. PvE server most likely. So Alice says, "Hey Def, you should look up the Game of Thrones intro as WoW Classic." You should look up the Game of Thrones intro. Let me see. Game of Thrones intro is WoW Classic. Game of Thrones intro, WoW Classic. Oh shit! World of Thrones. Oh shit! Hold on one sec. That's awesome, dude. Thunder Bluff. This gets me hyped for Sunday, boys. Oh my god, I can't wait for Sunday. Wiener, floppy wiener, floppy wiener, floppy wiener. After another wiener, floppy wiener, floppy wiener, floppy wiener. Then wiener, after another wiener. Iron Forge. Oh, that's awesome. The mountain opens there. Dude, who did this? This is so cool, man. That was fucking awesome. That was really cool, dude. Really fucking cool. Bro, I'm playing Classic for the rest of my life. We'll play together, I promise. Hell yeah, Izzy. Oh my god, you get more attractive every day. Oh shit, shut up, Dan. For the EU. Gotta peace out, says Viv. Gonna hang out with the girlfriend. Peace, man. Keep on binding and grinding. Viv, peace out, brother. You too, my man. Keep on binding and grinding. We're about to head out as well, too, guys. So, thank you for subscribing, DJ Sword Buzzowie on YouTube. Yeah, we're almost at 1,100 YouTube subs now soon. We're getting there. We're getting there, boys. We are getting there. I went LE 220 for elemental focus, then went enhancement, shield, dagger spec. Most fun I had leveling a shaman. Perpa, I gotta try that, my man. That sounds really fucking cool. Went down to 20 for elemental focus, then went enhanced, shield, dagger spec. I love using a shield, and it's so much extra armor and defense. I love that. It's so cool. Ben Sots is probably gonna abuse the gnomish death ray on my gnome lock. Ben, nothing's funnier though than being a gnome warlock and or just having the death ray and that shit backfiring and killing you. Like I remember I was on my rogue one time. I think someone netted me and then was hitting with the death ray, but they already had like half health, and the fucking death ray backfired and killed them. I was just sitting there in my net and just watched him fucking kill himself. It was great. Great. All right, boys. Probably gonna. Okay. I'm going to head out for the day, guys. I am going to enjoy the rest of this night, this rest of this Saturday night. I just want to thank you all, you guys, again. Again, guys, before you go out, check out if you're on, whether you're on Twitch or you're on YouTube. Make sure you check out the links in the description that has the site, the Classic WoW site. If you guys haven't followed over on Twitch, please follow on Twitch. If you're looking for the stream playlist, so if you guys didn't get to see all of the stream, right? You guys didn't get to watch as much as you wanted of the stream. The link to all of the streams is right there in the description. That has all of the streams. You can watch them from beginning to end. They're all up there. I gotta put up this one on there. I'll put it up there in a little bit once it's done loading. So yeah, you guys have a great night. Keep on binding and grinding. I will see you guys tomorrow. We're going to do a stream tomorrow. I really had a lot of fun today with... thank you for subscribing, guys. Again, yes. Yes, subscribe. Join the Discord if you guys want. Like I said, all the links are in the description. And I will see you guys tomorrow on Saturday. We'll have some fun. We'll talk some classic WoW. We'll watch some videos, look at some memes, shit like that. Tomorrow will be a funny day, a little bit more lighthearted, but we're going to have some fun, boys. All right, let's keep the hype alive. Keep on and grinding. I love you guys. Peace. See you tomorrow, boys. Hell yeah.